Let me just play my friends. There we go. All right, all right, all right. She live? Hello, 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 hello. I'm gonna be playing my friend, and we're gonna be talking together. So, let's do this. How are you? Hope you're finally waking up. I've got an echo. Uh oh.
He's literally here. So the rise of nihilism has basically led to. In fact, now that you're here, can you explain? Because they're asking me why do I think. Sorry, why am I talking about nihilism? And I'm trying to say that it's because it's relevant to today because people
Is
are
there an
behaving.
echo on my end, by the way?
Uh-uh.
Oh, okay.
Is there an echo, man?
No, no, no. All right, Siki, I think that might be you and Siki. All right, hello guys. How are you guys doing? It's nihilism. So you guys can actually see. I'm sharing the wrong screen. Let me share this one. The topic invite. Oh, maybe that's the wrong one. The conversation came from this.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm always looking at random things online. Let me show you guys exactly where I got this from. Hopefully TikTok doesn't take me down. This is it. So the FBI Honolulu office in Hawaii posted this, and they said this week the FBI blah 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 led an informative session on nihilistic. I can't say that word on TikTok. Extremism and emerging threats that targets our keiki through online gaming and social media platforms, etc., etc. So if you go on the link, the whole idea is meant to be like they're seeing a new strain of extremism, which is basically people just, I guess, believing like life is whatever, so they're just doing bad stuff because of that. The echo is still there. Has anyone else got an echo? Can you ask your audience? I don't hear. I think it's fine, but I can't hear.
No, I don't think it's echoing. It's not echoing for me.
Let me just do an echo test.
It's not echoing for me.
Okay, I'll do an echo test. So essentially, that's basically where I got that from. So when I read that, I had my journalistic hat on in terms of like, oh, interesting kind of new threat. Okay, there's no echoes found on my end, so I'm fine. But then it got me thinking more philosophically about like, if you actually deep life, like let's be all the way 100 about this. A lot of the things we do and why we do it don't really have any rhyme or reason. So if you kept on asking, like children always ask like why? If you kept on asking someone like, okay, why do we have, I don't know, capitalism? Why do we want to make money? Why do we want to do this? It doesn't really lead anywhere because you can't actually answer the why questions ultimately, right? Like if we only live for a finite amount of time and that's really all there is to it, why do we bother doing a lot of the things we do? That was kind of my idea behind that kind of, and these sub questions are meant to be like, when I rationalize it in my head, is that kind of how it followed on from me, which is like animals do this. Most animals don't care about why they exist or live, right? They don't live life with purpose. They just their thing in the ecosystem and kind of leave it, you know? So that was my motivation behind that. Does that make some sense? Am I seeing some virtual nods in the
I
in
think
your
that
audience?
was I think that was a good outline. That was a good explanation. But I don't know if you're ready to get into it now because I know when this plays chess. But that when I saw that what you said about the animals, I wasn't entirely convinced
Really?
by the animals, and I think someone even said plants. Someone
Plants?
said that yeah, but obviously we can't see plants moving and existing in the same way that animals do. I think animals are much more closer to human beings. However, I just feel as though like obviously we haven't yet proved, and let's just go off of the assumption that animals don't have the ability to rationalize in the same way that human beings do. For me, I think that is a reason why they're not going to have any nihilistic tendencies
Mm,
because in order to be nihilistic, you have to first have this ability to create objective rules in the first place. But I don't think they have that. I think they live by the laws of nature, which obviously human beings could have done. However, given the state that we're in now, given the world that has been created, um, we have created an objective reality, quote unquote, or we prescribe belief onto other people. We want other people to believe the same things that we do. I think as a result of that, that's how the concept of nihilism can come about. So this comparison between human beings and animals when it comes to this conversation, I think is a bit
tenuous. Okay. I
yeah.
think that's a nice way for you to do it. So my plan for these questions, we can probably just go through it line by line. Like we can, I guess,
Mm.
we probably won't find the answer, quote unquote. Hi T100, thank you for joining as always. Um, We probably won't
Timmy said
find.
something.
Oh, go on, go on. Feel free to share the live, guys, as well. Get more people in here. I would like I said in the
Yeah, I was
thing,
going to say hi to live.
I would also like
So they
can tell you're an atheist by the questions. Well, I have an interest in religious in what do you call it? Religious background. Funny enough, actually, young KK. Me and Eden and I actually took part in a debate about whether or not God exists a few months ago. Try and dig that
yeah,
footage out. She was really making a lot of snide remarks at me. It was a shame we didn't get to go like back and forth, because more like I did my
yeah.
conversation, then she did hers, and we didn't really get to like needle each other, which should have been quite fun. So where can we find that? I will try and post it. You know what? One of my friends that
I
we
was
did,
thinking I should start posting the
I,
clips
I
of me.
haven't I haven't even asked Toby for that. Back and forth in the main part. Sorry, what do you mean, young KK? T100. I'm gonna try and get the full recording because we did it for a thing called Discourse Collective, but I haven't actually got my raw footage yet. But like, it basically like my footage and Eden's footage. We'll try and maybe splice that together or something, so you guys can we can have a fun conversation around that later on. Young KK, what do you mean?
Wait, can you see the
Yeah,
comments that
yeah,
are
yeah.
coming on my page?
No, I can't see your comments.
Or
I'm only
can you
seeing
only
my comments.
see?
Yeah.
Okay, okay,
Is there a way
okay.
to turn that
One
on so we can
comment
see
from
both?
I don't I don't know.
Go on
But I
anyway.
can read it out to you.
Go on.
Timmy said, irrespective of religion, I disagree with the statement. Nothing
Ah,
crazy there, but like
is she
I
religious
think
herself? Or is he he? I don't know if he's he or she.
Timmy, I don't know.
If they want to come on as a guest,
I
feel
don't know.
free. I do want someone to like, some religious people to come on as guests and kind of help us flesh this out.
Yeah.
Yeah, young KK,
I
you're
feel like
right. Yeah.
religious people say
Take on.
something about this.
Um, sorry, 1 second. Young KK, you're right. Yeah, being able to go back and forth is the best part. But I think there was just some concern about how exactly if it might get out of hand and stuff. But it would have been nice to do that, but unfortunately not. But yeah, if you're religious, like I said, if you happen to stumble on this and you want to come on and share your thoughts on any of this, I do think the religious angle to this is quite important. But until we get someone religious coming in, coincidentally, I had the JW not coming. Interesting. Until we get someone religious come in and speak to us, I think we'll just try and go through it like the questions line by line. So maybe I'll be like an interviewer type of person, just challenging you if you like, and then you can kind of give me your thoughts on, I don't know, if you disagree with like my logic.
Yeah.
So starting with the first thing then, so like what I thought obviously was like humans are animals, like we're intelligent animals, right? But we are animals at the end of the day. Animals that are not like us don't consider like the purpose of their lives. Sorry, T100. I didn't go uni. I don't know if Eden. I think Eden, you went uni, right?
Yeah, I'm even doing my masters right now. Someone asked me if I've deconstructed yet. I feel like deconstruction, sorry, Ade, before I
It's
continue, I
alright.
feel like deconstruction is a process. I don't think one can ever fully deconstruct in the society that we live in because there's a lot of ideologies and apparatus that we're always going to be feeding into. But yeah, of course, I'm definitely on that journey. Like the things that I've come up with in my head, like you won't even understand. You won't even understand. Anyway, sorry, I did.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I think yeah, it's an interesting concept of trying to answer the questions and also because we want to keep the audience engaged, right? But we also want to kind of hopefully get through this. So again, like I said, if you guys have any, if you want to share any thoughts on any of this, feel free to request and come on as a guest. And especially as I'm going through the question list, I do want it to be quite interactive. So Eden, are you able to like bring someone on as a guest? Do you know?
Um, I don't know.
Let me
I guess
see.
if someone requests, I can accept
If
them.
I go on multi guests. Sorry guys, I'm trying to figure out
Yeah,
the
there's a
kinks of
multi.
doing this. Yes, Daniel, share the live.
I
Guys,
can,
share the live, please. Let's get more people in here. My goal is to try and get to
I
10
can,
active
I can
listeners
like the
today.
live as well.
Like the live,
Well,
share
we're
it.
already on time.
Oh, see, I'm on 6 on my end. So I guess we're on 16 together. I'll take that.
Oh,
I'll add it up.
yeah. 10, 11 over here.
Nice, nice. I'm on 6.
Um,
Is the first question of fact or opinion?
yeah, Peter, the
Oh,
red.
you mean question one? Oh, sorry. Yeah, we're talking to different audience. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm trying to coordinate this. So,
Yeah, I thought we would have the same
yeah,
people.
I thought we were able to say, guys, sorry, I can't see Eden's like chat and she can't see my chat,
Audience,
so I'm
yeah.
having to respond to my audience. She's having to respond to all audience. It's all right, Bliss. It's all right. You haven't missed much. So Eden and Bliss asked, is the first question of fact or opinion? So the fact that animals live, reproduce, and die with no rhyme or reason. I thought that was a fact, but it's a
Um,
fair question. Maybe animals have their own spiritual things that they believe in that we don't understand. Is that possible?
exactly. It's
Perhaps.
definitely possible. I mean, we'll never know. Like the issue of what is it called? I don't remember, but this idea that we would never be able to understand anyone else completely. We don't understand other people's minds,
Solipsism.
let alone animals. No, solipsism is more so the idea that we are the only ones that exist and that we made up
Oh, are you talking
everyone
about
else.
qualia? Is it the
I
guy
guess,
at Churchland? The qualia, like
yeah,
my
qualia is
the thing I
uh,
experience when you see stuff is unique to me, and you can't really
yeah.
get that. I know that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, we lack that. Like we lack having that. So we'll never know what animals believe. But if we look at it objectively, I feel that like even so, with no rhyme or reason, it's not really a fair thing to say because they definitely have like functions. The way that animals work is so interesting. The way that they exist is so interesting. Like when you look at lions, for example, the fact that they have a what is it, a king, and
A
everyone
king?
operates on that in that way.
I think if you've been watching a
People,
bit too much
is
Disney,
it
mate,
lion?
lions don't have a king.
Oh, which one has a king?
None of them have kings. Like, I don't think they call them. I think we call, we would
No,
call.
but there,
The lions have prides where like there's usually more than one male though. There's like two or three males and like nine, ten females.
exactly,
Oh, you
like
mean the
they
pride setup
move in a
itself?
pride.
Oh, you, okay,
Yes, that's what I'm
okay.
talking about.
All right,
But like,
all right.
surely there's like a leader of the pack.
Oh yeah, I mean, I guess they probably might be. Yeah, I guess they might be the
Yeah,
ones.
I don't know why you try to drag me like that,
No,
but yeah, there's
king is just a funny one
there's
to
a
say.
leader of
Like
the
lions
pack.
have a
Like you
king.
get what I
Like
was trying to
they,
say.
like he divvies up the land. Like you have this portion, I have this portion. Pay me some tribute money. No, I get what I'm joking. I'm teasing you. I get what you're saying. I have thought about it, like, do they have civilizations in the same way? Like maybe a million years ago, did lions used to live like one lion, one lioness, and did they evolve to now have this pride set up? Like the same way we used to have like polygamy, right? And
Exactly.
now we have monogamy is more of a thing. Did they like evolve? Okay, maybe I was wrong to say that, like, rhyme or reason. I guess I was just thinking in terms of like to our knowledge, humans are the only minds that are capable enough to to conceive of
Exactly.
beings that don't exist in the physical realm, right? Like, or to think beyond
Yeah.
the universe. So
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure other
That's what
animals can't do that.
Emma said. Emma even spoke about dolphins as an example. Dolphins are highly intelligent. Even when you look at monkeys, they're highly intelligent. But yeah, she agrees that not necessarily rhyme or reason, but you already conceded that. So
Okay, all right. So I guess the next question for that is like, if other animals, all the other animals that exist on Earth, live in a kind of, again, rhyme or reason is the wrong way to put it, but you get what I mean. Why should it be
yeah.
different for us? Like, why should we stand out amongst all the other animals? What do you say to that?
Um, I don't think we need to stand out. I just think it's a function of the human brain to think and overthink and try to understand things in a categorical way. Aristotle criticized humanity for always having to put things into categories. And as a result, I feel like that makes us it puts us in a place where we think certain things are objective when they're not. It's a very human thing to do. I think that's what distinguishes human beings from animals because we do this thing where it's like, okay, you look like this, so you have to be that. And if you look like this and you're not that, then that's weird. You'll be like you're breaking the rules. And I don't think animals necessarily do that, but again, that might just be an assumption.
No, no, I think that's a fair point. And part of what I said in the God debate was the fact that humans' intelligence, well, I don't think I said that in the God debate. I just said that generally is our superpower. So in the same way, other animals, see how whales, a blue whale, what makes it unique is that it's the largest animal to exist. In the same way, our intelligence makes us unique in that we are the most intelligent humans to exist. But I think we then go on to say, like, because we're so intelligent, we're categorically different. And we are different as a matter of
Hmm.
fact, but doesn't necessarily make us
Yeah.
better because it's just a difference in the same way chameleons can change color. Does that make them better than us? Not really. They're just different, you know?
Yeah.
So I think there's some
Trey said
truth.
that.
Go on.
So you'll be interested in this. Trey said that he used to believe this until it was time for spiritual warfare and had to run back to Christ. And it's Trey, I
Spiritual
want you to
warfare.
expand on
Yeah, what
that.
does that mean?
I really like those philosophers though. Trey, I really want you to expand on that. How isn't the prompt self-refuting as it assumes the words forming the sentence has meaning?
Oh,
Exactly. That is called the nihilistic paradox.
oh God, we're
Speak on
getting
your
all of that into it. T100 said, "Is what you're saying is like judging an elephant for not being able to climb a tree?" Exactly, exactly. Like trying to be like, "Oh, I'm better than an elephant because I can climb trees and blah blah." Elephant can just say to you,
Yeah.
"I'm better than you because I'm much bigger than you and stronger than you, and I can even take the tree down out of the out of the
But
root."
I feel like
So
we're
what?
taking a time. I feel like that's not really the conversation that we're having. It's not about who's better. It's just what about us makes us more so able to do this thing. It's not that we're better than
No,
animals,
no.
even
So
though
that's
obviously
what.
people.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. That's what I'm saying. So I'm not saying like we are better. I'm just saying like part of the reason why maybe
Hmm.
we think that we exist for a purpose is that we think we are
Okay.
better. Yeah. Like if you assume that
Okay.
humans are unique to every other animal, it then follows on that maybe again you then start to think about like, oh, a god created us specially for that reason,
Uh-huh.
as opposed to like we're animals the same way lions are animals. There's nothing really special about it. So if lions' existence doesn't have a
Yeah.
meaning, why should ours have a meaning? That kind of thing.
Exactly.
All right, so
Exactly. It's a question, but I guess it's an assumption that the animals' lives don't have meanings,
that's
because
a fair point.
maybe the lives of the animals do have meaning. You know.
Yeah, Daniel also asked about the spiritual warfare. So I don't know if Trey wanted to tell us a bit more. But again, that might be a tangent to be fair. So we can get to that later. So the next question, I guess, on that point would be, I guess this is a bit more controversial one. So my thesis on this is that part of the reason why we invented a god, again, my theory is that we invented it, is because we do think we are unique to all the other animals and better than them. And so that's why we have to be
Hmm.
uniquely created by God, and God made us, from his likeness and image and all that kind of stuff, because we think we're not the same as all the other animals, basically. What would you say to that?
I want to pull on what Emma just said in my chat, which is I think our intelligence itself is our hamasha. We don't know when to stop and just be. And I think that's so real. We just keep, and I'm definitely a victim of this. We just keep thinking and thinking until like we back ourselves into a corner where it's like we don't understand, and we start shoehorning things in. Um, Noah from the Rep podcast says that religion is an outdated format to ascribe meaning to an unquantifiable existence. I think we're all in the same like remit here. We're all in the same boat in that we're just trying to understand the understandable. Because if you look at this idea of if you look at this idea of eschatological verification, which is once you die, you'll be able to find out the truth about existence. Um, no one is prepared to wait until death before they know. And yeah, we're too self-absorbed. We think
Mm.
that we have the ability to know everything. I don't
I
know if that answers your question.
No, no, I think I generally agree with that. Like I think like Emma said, our intelligence is also our hubris. Like we're so smart, we start to think there's nothing we can't do and there's nothing we can't explain. And because we want to understand life and say like the idea that our life really is just we're born, live up to 70, 80 if you're lucky. Some people live a lot shorter than that. And then once you die,
Yeah.
there is no other reason for it. That is just the end of it. It's hard for us to understand. Just because we can understand that, that cycle itself, we now
Mhm.
want to believe that there should be more to it. It's like someone that thinks they're really smart, right? Like if you think you're really smart and your existence is like not great, you're gonna always not understand. You're gonna be like, this makes no sense. Like I'm smarter than this. I shouldn't be in this position. Blah blah. Or sometimes life can just be that way, right? And
Mm,
so like it's trying to solve an equation that you can't solve. You start to add variables that you just made up, like God,
yeah.
because
That's what I'm trying to put my finger on. Noah said another interesting thing, which is it's the same desire for knowledge that has led to the mass evolution of our species when it comes to like social evolution and like in terms of um technology and things of that nature. But I believe that okay, I believe in creationalism. I think that's the right word. I don't know. But I do believe that God exists, but I
mm,
don't believe that any of the gods that we have
mm,
conceptualized is what exists, because I can't yet fathom a world that just came to be randomly
randomly,
out of
yeah,
nowhere.
yeah, I agree. I see
Like,
your, I see,
I
I see your
can't
point.
yet accept that.
If Noah
I think
has
that's the
so
only
much to
thing
say,
that's
does he want to come on live? Do you want to say something?
I don't know. But I realized that I can't add
You can't ask
people.
people as a guest. That's not great.
I don't think so. I tried.
There's so many
I
kinks to
tried,
work
but
out to this.
all that honestly,
Yes. Sorry.
because like when I click multi guest, all of the people are like frozen out. Like I
Ah.
can't click.
So Emanuela
Yes, I
said
just have to.
sometimes it's a coping mechanism, thinking and reflecting so much on experiences. What do you mean? Like, is that to do with the God thing, or is that more of a general point? Um, yeah, sorry, apologies, guys. We're gonna try and understand if it's possible for us to A, have the same chat so we can see the same comments, and then B,
Yeah,
like we can both together add people on to bring them on as guests. So I think for me right now, for you guys to be on a guest, I think you have to be in my live thing. I think we have to be. I think I can make anyone as a guest if they're in the live. Let me just check. If I click on multi guests. Oop.
people are
Oh,
asking questions here.
oh, okay.
The first one, is it possible to disprove the death and resurrection of Christ? Which is an interesting question because why is the burden of proof on us? You're the one that's claiming that Jesus died and resurrected. Is it possible to prove that he did? And the next question is, um, do you think that God has power over humanity to make us believe? Um, yeah, I'm just gonna leave it at that for now.
Yeah.
Do you have any thoughts?
um, they are interesting questions. I'm not sure how much they fit into the objective meaning question that we're discussing today.
Mhm.
So, at the risk of not getting sidetracked, we can come back to it later if you guys prefer. But I think let's just
Yeah.
continue with the next questions if you guys don't mind. Third question: can life have any purpose without a belief in a supernatural being? So, in a world where we all agree that there is no God and I don't know how the universe came to be, can life still have any? I guess purpose is doing a lot in that in that sentence. But what do you think?
100%. 100%. And what you're gonna find is that a lot of the things that people claim to believe in, as a result of their religion, is actually things that they would have believed in or people believed in before their religions came to be. I
Hmm.
think like a lot, there's nothing special about any religion. Like there's nothing, even the golden rule, for example, that treat others as you want to be treated. That existed before Christianity. It exists after. It exists in so many different religions as well. And it's just like people can give themselves purpose from what they no, we're not both atheists. I'm not an atheist. Ade is Ade, atheist, isn't it?
By definition, I guess I would be.
By
Um,
definition.
my
By
views are a bit more
definition, Ade is.
complicated, but like by definition, yes. Yeah.
Yeah, because I feel like atheism doesn't really capture
Capture
what is really
exactly
going
the
on, but
essence of yeah.
we'll get to that. No, but yeah, I think people can definitely find purpose in their family. They can find purpose in trying to make the world a better place. They can find purpose in like creating stuff. What's my faith? I grew up as a Christian. Um, yeah, I grew up Christian.
Hmm.
I believe in God, not necessarily the Christian
So Bliss
God.
asked the question: is the argument whether it has purpose or how significant the purpose is? I don't think the significance of the purpose is important. Okay, I'll give. Maybe I should flesh that out a little bit. What's my belief? I'll get into that in a minute, Bliss. So what I mean by
Yeah, I want to
purpose
hear what
is
you believe.
what I mean by purpose in this context is like if you believe in God, right? You believe our existence is about us, like we live to please God. So like we live to serve Him and all that kind of stuff, And the purpose of life is to, I guess, serve God as best you can. And then when God, the rapture and all that afterlife and all that kind of stuff happens, you live in heaven. So I guess your purpose slash goal would be, yes, it's a dual one, isn't it? In that context, is like to live a life that pleases God, but also you're doing that because the end goal is I want to go to heaven or I want to, live in paradise on earth, for example, if you subscribe to that theory. So that would be your purpose if you're a religious person. Now, if you remove the existence or potential of a paradise or heaven existing, what would you be living for? I guess like if someone asked you, then like why do you like
Hmm.
like what's your
Okay.
reason for thing? Like what would you pin that on? Because like if I give some some personal details on this, I personally don't really know. Like ever since I started my whole journey of like being unsure about the existence of God and stuff, I do wonder sometimes like I'll be honest, I've been prone to some nihilistic thoughts myself, which is like, what's the point of all this? Like, there is no,
Mhm.
like, there's no real. Again, we just that to me that just reduces us down to the animals, which is like, we exist to feel our base desires, sexual and food and all that kind of
Mm.
stuff. But then beyond that, there is no other reason for why we need to do X, Y, Z, right? We can just do whatever. Daniel said to survive. I guess we all want to see the next day. 'Cause that's our immediate goals. So in that context,
But I
what do you think?
guess the question is, what's the point of trying to survive if there's no greater
Exactly. Like, why are we
thing?
trying to? Yeah, why are we
You know,
trying to do this? Because
why
like,
don't
because
we all
yeah.
just die? Sorry, TikTok. Like, why don't we end it all now? And I just there are actually two sides of the spectrum for this, which is like the Christians are are in my chat. As one has now claimed that there is no point to anything.
Oh,
But
we
I
want
feel
to
like
hear from you. Can you follow me, please? What in the World Weekly, so I can have you on as a guest. We want to hear from
yeah,
you guys,
guys,
please.
if you want to like speak, follow What in the World Weekly or like enter this through his live, so you can be added. But I think there are two things. Like yeah. Should we just end it? Those of us who are already alive. Is there any point trying to make the world better when we already know that it's very, very unlikely that it will be? And also, should we subscribe to antinatalism? Should we just stop having children? Because what are we having children for? Like genuinely, I think more and more I've come to realize that there is no point of having kids
Really?
because they're just gonna enter the
Oh,
world.
we're getting deeper.
Yes,
This is with the whole 4C, 4B movement in
a
South Korea or
hundred
something.
percent. No, but not even, and that's the thing, not even in a political way,
Right.
but in a way that the world is a horrible place. Genuinely, the world is a terrible place. Why are we bringing innocent children into that? And secondly, for feminist reasons, is why I don't believe that we should have children. But obviously, that's not what this live is for.
Right.
Um, but the if immortality is a concept, there's no agency, guys. I don't know what to say.
There's a lot going on.
There's a lot going
If
on.
immortality is the sorry, say that again.
If immortality is a
Thank you.
concept, if immortality is a concept, hey, and thank you for liking the sound of it. Uh, there's a lot going on. If immortality is a concept, then there is no like autonomy. There's no agency. Um, and what does that
So
mean?
as in
How
like
does
if the goal is to try and like live in heaven afterlife, then everything you're doing because of that, and
oh,
so therefore, huh? Urgency.
urgency. Sorry, he meant urgency was the typo.
If urgencies, what again, that's
That
what.
changes everything.
Can you say that again as
Like
a
if we live forever, like if there's immortality, there's no urgency. So that means like no one's gonna really try and achieve anything because like you've got forever to do whatever. And I think our mortality is what makes us so afraid. The fact that we know that the only thing that's guaranteed is our death. Sorry, take salt. Guys, please can you like the live, please so don't take us down.
yeah?
Thank
Can
you.
you stop saying that word, please? Your TikTok are very very sensitive.
Sorry. I forget. I feel like I'm just talking to normal people. I forget.
Continue.
If the fact that we know that the only thing that's guaranteed is that we're not going to be here anymore is what leads us to try and fabricate a reason to like be alive, you know. Someone thinks that personhood is very much social. Yeah,
Person, so
did that make sense to you?
not really. Maybe I wasn't. I'm distracted from the comments. Everyone's saying stuff like we've been
Okay,
going
okay,
on an
okay,
hour. Sorry.
okay.
Sorry. Bliss said, my primary motivations are the physical realm. So my life now in the present and the generations after me. But I guess I would just ask that if all the generation after you're going to do is live for 70, 80, 90 years and then just pass away after that, why do you
Yeah.
care what they do? Like, what does it really matter?
Um, I think it's just about being humane in that it's not right for certain people to suffer. Like it's genuinely not okay. And I feel like what you just said kind of permits bad things. Like it kind of gives like an excuse. It excuses like there are so many words I want to say that I can't say because of TikTok. But it excuses the stuff that's happening, you know, in the Middle East. It excuses slavery because oh, it doesn't matter. Everyone's just gonna die anyway. Let's just do what we want. I think there is a obligation that we have to each other as we exist now.
And so I'm not
So
debating that. So
I
I
think
think, go on, I'll cut you off. I'll let you finish.
because what I want to say is that this whole conversation of like nihilism, it presupposes that this life doesn't mean anything. It doesn't matter. But our interaction right now is meaningful. Even in its isolation, in and of itself, is meaningful. But it doesn't. I feel like there's an assumption that there has to be a grand plan and a huge whatever. And it's like, do you know what? That's what we've been told, but it doesn't have to be the case. These miniature conversations can be life changing and can be significant in and of themselves. There are so many comments.
So the here and now is what really matters because that's what Bliss was saying. Bliss
Yeah.
was saying like she just believes in the physical realm. She doesn't think much about how that affects the spiritual and stuff like that. But I think my not pushback, but my kind of thing about that is like, sorry, can I say something? My kind of thing about that is like, if you want to do something for the future generation, but all the future
Yeah.
generation are going to do is just live an existence that's, let's be honest,
Mm?
in the grand scheme of stuff, pointless because they live and enjoy their life, pass on.
Why is that pointless? They're living.
No, I mean, in and of itself, I guess it's useful. I suppose, fair enough. But I just think,
That's what I'm saying. I feel like we keep doing this thing where we want this master plan. We want this overarching, okay, yeah, so by the end of all of this you would have achieved X. But I think it's about the little things that you win along the way. It's the realization of the
it
knowledge.
sounds like
That's
it's not the
sounds
journey,
like
it's the
a
friends you made
thing.
along the way. It's not the journey, it's the friends you made along the way.
Yeah, yeah, and it sounds a bit fantastical. It sounds a bit fictional and happy go lucky, but that's not really what I intend. Um, But something that I've realized recently is a lot of philosophers,
Hmm.
they were single and they died after running mad. And I strongly believe, you guys are probably not gonna agree with this, but I strongly believe, like, forget religion. I believe in this thing called eudaimonia, which is like reach it, like flourishing and reaching your life's purpose, quote unquote. And I think that is going mad after realizing the realities of the world. I think that my success in life,
Hmm.
my achievement, my flourishing is in running absolutely mad because of how much knowledge, enlightenment, self-actualization, exactly.
You sound like
Does that
King Solomon. Remember King Solomon in Ecclesiastes? Bro nearly went mad.
I actually
Deep in life.
is that what happened?
Yeah. Ecclesiastes basically like I think it has 12 chapters. All the chapters like from 1 to 11, it's just him just being like,
There we
the more
go.
I deep life, it really that makes no sense. Life has no meaning. I don't really understand it. And then
And I think
Ecclesiastes
those
12,
are
he was
the
just like,
ones
forget it.
who have really achieved. I think those are the ones who really made it. But sorry, I've now
No, it's no,
went to the
it's
wrong
fine.
side.
It makes sense because I think that purpose stuff. I was thinking about it in the context. I think I had a live a few weeks ago where I talked about how a lot of stuff we're doing right now with climate change, all that kind of stuff. I think as a matter of fact that the book. Emanuela asked what the book was. Ecclesiastes in the Bible. Ecclesiastes. Very very fascinating. Like when I was going through my kind of religious awakening, if you like, I read that and I really resonated with it. Not that I'm smart as King Solomon, although maybe I wouldn't mind if you said that, but I felt like him and I were going through something similar where I just kept on thinking like, then what? Like, what's the
Yeah.
point of all of this? Like, why do you do blah blah? And essentially, what King Solomon was saying in Ecclesiastes is like, he can almost curse God for making him too smart to see it. Like, in a world where he wasn't
Because
really that
it's
smart,
such
he
a
wouldn't
painful thing.
understand, and he would just be fine to believe in it, the whole thing. But because he was so smart, he could
Yeah.
see
Someone
like
made
what was making sense. He wasn't making sense, and he kind of went crazy.
because people are never going to understand you once you reach that higher level. Like, not everybody can get to that point. Once you reach that higher level, people are not going to understand you, and then you're going to feel like you've run mad. Someone even made a video on TikTok saying how they are never ever going to be happy. Like, they were prescribed medications for their depression because they've realized how bad the world is, and they know that there is nothing that they can do about it, and that is what led them to just conclude that they would never find happiness. And I think that person, like, as unfortunate and as sad as that sounds, is like, she is on her way. She's on her way there to reach to that enlightenment, to reach in that. Like, she's on her way going.
Yeah.
But no,
So
there's so much that
the
sorry.
no, it's fine, it's fine. So the thought a few weeks ago on the live was a lot of stuff we're doing with like climate change, and again, if you believe in well science and stuff, right? You understand that, for example,
Mm,
dinosaurs used to exist before. They had their
mm,
time, now they're extinct. No one's like, oh my god, why did that happen? Because you understand that as part of the cycle of life. So if you actually understand
mm.
that, that means as humans, our time is gonna come and go. And based on stuff like climate
Yeah.
change, it might be a lot sooner than we realize. But we've only existed for a very very tiny part of history. You know, Our
Mhm.
species is about 200,000 years old. The universe is 5 billion years old. So there's no way we're going
Mm.
to exist for another billion years. That's not going to happen. In about 50 to 100,000 years, our time will be over. And when you reflect on that, it's strange. I don't know, because I guess we're smart enough to understand and deep it. It's just a bit strange to know, live life knowing that our species is not going to exist in the near future. Like, what does that then
Yeah.
mean for us now? Like, again, I can see why someone might then feel like, what's the point of all of this? And maybe start to do the kind of stuff that the FBI is going to find you on their list and their radar because you're starting to think a bit strange.
Mhm.
So, the reason I wanted to talk about that today is to tie that into, like, if you think about the economic system we have now, which I've talked a lot about in my videos and stuff, our economic system is one in which prioritizes wealth accumulation over everything else. If you peel back the layers on why people are doing that, if you think about the most wealthy people in our society right now, probably around
Mhm.
3%, maybe even less, of the reason why they do that is to try and make money to survive or live. They make
Yeah.
money and want to do that because the system requires them to. There's no then point as to why. um Bliss just said I could have done without that perspective. That's very depressing. Yeah, I'm sorry. These kind of things you think about, it's strange. But there's no reason as to why people want to accumulate. Well, if you think about our economic system, we worship capital for that reason specifically. We don't do that because
In my
we want a
gossiping.
better, this or better that. If you have 400 billion like Elon Musk does, your goal is to make 500 billion. Not because that improves you in any material way, just because that's what the system requires you to do. Once you get 500 billion, you want to make 600 billion. Now, if that requires you to destroy the planet, you're going to do it, like Shell and ExxonMobil and all these companies were doing. If that requires you to unalive a bunch of people, you're going to do it. You're just slave to that system in the same way. So what I was thinking about is, like, do we come up with a system that's pointless and essentially nihilistic because that is a reflection of our reality? Because we do exist without rhyme or reason, like I said before, it follows on to me that we'll create a system that also doesn't have a real purpose. Because if our purpose, the purpose of our system right now is to, like, make as many people happy as possible, that would make sense, right? Like, even though there's
Yeah.
no, reason, quote unquote, people should be, just like, that's a good thing to do because humans want to be happy, blah blah blah. But no, we've come up with a system that actually requires us to just, maybe be pointless on purpose. Sorry, I've been rambling on for a lot. So if you have any, if there's any comments coming in, I'll take this. I think I've seen some on my end as well. Sorry, I've depressed my audience. Everyone's talking about how depressed they are after that take. After that take. Sorry about that, guys.
I
I didn't
must
mean to.
suggest reading All About Love by Bell Hooks. And she also asks, why would a better world be unrealistic when we create our own reality? And I think that's a really, really good point. But I think the issue, especially to what you were saying, Ade, the issue is that we are made to believe that this is what the system requires of us when the reality that's not the case. Like I was in a room, I was doing a focus group with some kids. They were like 17 years old, and one of them raised their hand and they were like, equality is not possible. And they said, yeah, equality is not possible, and in order for people to be equal, some people have to lose in order for other people to gain. And I realized that this is actually the beginning of red pill content. You're being told something, you're being fed a rhetoric that it wants to push you into the capitalist society so that you can continue to reproduce for the Uberman, for you to continue to reproduce for the guy at the top. And I found that really, really sad, and I realized that if we continue to allow this type of rhetoric to be spewed, especially to our children, we're done for. We're doomed. Because what do you mean
But wouldn't someone
equality?
then say, like, if you look at nature, that is just true, isn't it? Like, there's no
What's
other.
just
If you look at the ecosystem or the animal kingdom or whatever, a lion hunts
yeah,
this other animal, and yeah, it's destroyed that family. Like, a gazelle just gave birth to a new young that she wants to love on because she's a mammal, and the lion just takes it.
yeah.
That's just how it goes. Like, no one in the animal kingdom feels sorry for the gazelle, and no one's gonna feel sorry for the lion. Again, there is no rhyme or reason to why those things happen. They just happen because that's just how the world is. So if humans then believe that, yeah, equality is not possible and the goal is just we just live for our own specific ends, isn't that just a reflection of how life actually is? Someone might say, not me. Someone might say.
No, 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 no. That was a really good point. It's got me thinking. That's a really, really good point. But I just Sorry, let me read the comments and then I'll get back to that.
Right.
Someone has said being a billionaire is not ethical. I would die on that hill. Yeah, real. Because it keeps the masses in a dystopian loop of there's no way out when really there is. It's unrealistic because we don't all create the same reality. I think we should change equality to equity of opportunity. Yes, given the current circumstances. There is no way out, but those with power will not. There is a way out, but those with power will not allow it. So this is like the same type of. The host is atheist, agnostic, kind of both, more atheist. Sorry, someone asked. Okay, now, in response to the point that you made, I just, again, that's why I say that we can't really compare ourselves to animals
Mm-hmm.
because it's not the same thing. And also, when you look at it in terms of resources, what you're going to find is there is rhyme and reason to why what happens with the animals happen. It's the food chain, it's a food web. In order for them to survive, like they need to eat, and they're gonna eat the animals. I get that. That seems to kind of reflects the point that I didn't want to subscribe to, which is in order for some people to gain food, some people have to lose their life. Very scary concept, very strange. How do I respond to that? I think I want to say in terms of like human beings, they don't like we it doesn't have to be that way. I think that's the point that I'm trying to make. It doesn't have to be that
We
way.
hope so anyway.
Um unless someone now argues that like animals count in that conversation, but let's exclude animals for now,
Mm-hmm.
just look at human
Yep.
beings and the way sorry, somebody is requesting to join and I don't like it. So I have to remove them. If you look at human when it comes to resources, there are finite resources
Mm-hmm.
like land.
Right.
Land is a finite resource.
Mm-hmm.
However, there are resources that they're gonna make you believe is finite, but it's not. Like water. Water goes round in a cycle.
Mm-hmm.
The water that we drink comes back out and it turns into some form of water that we can drink again.
Mm-hmm.
And the ocean is like
Boundless. Yeah.
boundless. Thank you. That's exactly the word I was looking for. The ocean is boundless, but and yet there are people who do not have clean water to drink. Why is that? That is not as a result of oh, that's just the way nature is. That is a result of people having bad behavior. That's a result of people being selfish. That's a
Right.
result of the state spewing a rhetoric that you don't, you know,
Mm.
that is just
But then the
as I
question
said,
would be
it's
like, does that selfishness reflect a kind of natural order, if you will, which is kind of like if they weren't doing it, another person would, just because it's part of our nature to kind of like, I guess being good and bad is inherent to us, right? There's no like inherently good or bad people. People just make decisions and stuff. So like, if you think about a billionaire that's like, if you take one specific one that's like Coca-Cola, for example, they're notorious for stealing people's water and using it to make disgusting. But actually, Coke is quite sweet. I'm not gonna lie, but you get like selling it back to them and basically doing that kind of stuff. Coca-Cola would argue if they weren't doing it, Pepsi would be doing it, and if Pepsi weren't doing
yeah.
it, and there was another company doing it. So like you can't then say like those people are unique in their evil or whatever, because it's always gonna be someone available to do that kind of stuff. And something I reflected on is like because humans are so complex, it's a bit like one human being is incredibly complex in themselves. If you have even 100 people, trying to govern those people is a nightmare. Now we have 8 billion. So trying to marshal a collective consciousness across 8 billion people is always going to be impossible.
Mm.
And the same people that are like doing all these bad things, I promise you, even they don't really have a real reason why they do it. It's like they're slave to a certain system. Like, we're all trying to make money for the man, right? But if we then find the man and then say to him, why do you want all this money? He's gonna be like, I don't really know. I just have to have like, this is just I just it's like a default setting, like, which is capitalism, I think, or that kind of economic system, which is like we're all slave to. Even the people at the top are slaves to it in the same way.
Yeah. I think one thing that we need to start thinking about more psychology and people's mental makeup.
Yeah.
There are some people who, and that's what you're gonna find is a lot of the people who are at the top, quote unquote, a lot of the people who are perpetuating capitalism, who are deciding to be selfish in their ways, is as a result of psychological deficiencies or like
She said,
psychological
said
issues.
we're
They're
run by
suffering.
mad people, basically.
Yeah, in a way that's like you're very narcissistic, and like there are things that are wrong with you and the way that you behave because of your psychology, but because you have this power, you're able to get away with it.
Or because
That's
or
one
you get that power because you are that person, maybe.
exactly.
Yeah.
And I just feel as though what we need to stop doing is acting as if they are representative or reflective of all. Not everybody is gonna
Oh,
act
that's
like
a
that.
great point.
Not everybody is gonna do that. And it's like, yes, granted, there are the few who, if it's not you, then it's gonna be one of the other few. However, I'll be so real. When it comes to the majority, n- people want happiness and equality. That's what people truly want, is what I believe. And the idea that, okay, yeah, if it's not me that's doing this horrible thing, someone else is gonna do this horrible thing. No, again, that is just ideology to make you believe that that's the reality of what's gonna be happening. I don't know. Yeah, I hope that
I
made
really
sense.
like that point. I'm actually gonna write down. I'm gonna try and do maybe like a reflections thing because I really like that point you just made, and I don't want to forget it. So I'm gonna start writing this down, guys, as much as I
Okay.
can
In the
because
meantime,
I am
I'll read out what
nice
people are
because
saying
I
on this side.
am. Let me put it somewhere you can see it. I don't know.
We can give reasons for biological history regarding
Because
animals.
the point you just made is something about like I talk a lot about politics on my thing, right? And you've made a point about essentially like a lot of these people are kind of insane, and and I agree
Yeah.
because I always talk about like think of kind of decisions that are being made to if you think about war, for example, when we see some of the footage we see from these war zones, some of us can't sleep at night. Like we're like, what the hell is this? The people that are making these decisions, they walk around us like they're normal, like it's normal what they're doing. They're hugging babies and they're kissing kids and they're smiling and laughing. We're watching the consequence of what they're doing, and we can't believe. We all know some of the footage we've seen from that country in the Middle East. Like, it's been horrific to see. The people that are making these
Yeah.
decisions, they're smiling. These people are not. They can't be sane. They can't be like because like you and I. Because if they're like you and I, they would not be okay with this. So that's a very good point you've made. Like some of these people actually just like, they're not okay in the head. But maybe sadly, you have to not be okay in the head for you to get to those positions anyway, right? Because there does require a level of like a lot of these people are literally fed by adulation and stuff. Like the desire to want to have that power is not something everyone has. And if you have that,
Yeah.
again, it's a good thing and a bad thing in the sense that it's ambitious and stuff like that. But it also then leads to the kind of world we probably have, right? Which is
Okay, sorry. Emmanuel said something I think is actually really interesting. Emmanuel said, actually, a lot of us can sleep at night perfectly because it doesn't affect us. And he claims that we don't go to sleep thinking about Gaza.
I mean, I
And I
do.
feel as
I don't know
though
about you guys. I'll be so honest.
I
Sadly,
know for sure.
I'm not gonna lie. I do.
I don't. I don't. We don't have to. What you need to realize is a lot of these issues are interlinked. So the okay, a lot of these issues are interlinked. Gaza is not the only. Gaza is one in many, many, many situations.
Hmm.
We don't have to go to sleep thinking about Gaza in order to realize and understand that there are issues. There are issues in the world. I go to sleep every day realizing that, nah, man, capitalism, bro. Like there are issues. I'm gonna wake up and I'm gonna function again in this capitalist society. Maybe you don't go to sleep thinking about specific examples of what's going on, but you definitely go to sleep thinking that the world is really messed up, and you wake up thinking the exact same thing, but you're forced to keep going because you have to survive. And I feel as though it's a very Charles Mills wrote about something called white ignorance. White ignorance is something that is not only perpetuated by white men, but it can be perpetuated by anyone. No, Emmanuel, you haven't messed up anything, by the way. I just think this is a very interesting concept because it shows that there are people who are existing thinking that you're living a reality that you're not, because everything that's going on in Gaza is political. Everything that's happening in this, I'm going to assume that you're from the UK. In the UK, is political. Everything is linked together. Everything is the same thing. So when you see that there's a man that
Interesting.
fell
Keep
however
going.
many
Keep going.
feet,
Keep going.
when you see that there's a man who fell however many feet from the pole that he wanted to spring up his England flag on, it's all the same thing. Fascism. It's all the same thing. And when you realize that everything is linked, you're going to quickly just begin to sit down and shed a bit of a tear after realizing that the world is so broken, the world is so messed up, and what they want you to believe is, oh, that doesn't concern you. Go to work, do your 9 to 5, go back home, and feed back into the capitalism that they are benefiting off of. The money that you make is always going to go back into the system that is perpetuating the systems that they want you to live under. And once you come to that realization, you find that it's not the individual things, it's not the individual occurrences of injustice, it's everything at once. The life that you're living is actually not okay, and because you're able to wake up and go to sleep in a sheltered home, because you have food every day, I'm assuming um
No shade. What the
because
hell? What the hell?
no, I'm assuming because you don't know who you're talking to.
I was so
Sorry,
dead.
Emmanuel said I'm actually scared of him.
Like, god damn,
There's
man.
something saying about politics because you're gonna think that just because you're in the position that you're in, everything is okay. Can I shock you one thing? Let me just shock you one thing. There was a statistic that they told me in my second year of university, and I said, surely not. They said that we, as we're sitting in this country, in this UK, in this London, we are in the top 10 to 5% of the globe. 95% of the world is living below the poverty line. And when you think about it, it makes sense. Think about the continent of Africa. Just think about it. And think about look at the eye situation in America. It's so crazy. Yeah. Like, it's just, okay. Ate, I'm going to hand it back over to y'all. Get a bit of
That was
all
a
that.
great insight. I totally agree with that. And that's a good way. I think you can think about that
Everything.
in the way Eden you said it without being maybe depressed about it. It is depressing, but it is just a fact, like you said. Like everything
But
we
you don't
do
be
is linked. Huh?
everything is man.
Everything's all linked. And then, Bliss asked, why do people need to be billionaires? Where does that drive and desire come from? I've genuinely said that a lot of the
Narcissism.
a lot yeah a lot of the politicians we have in the world today, we need to capture these people and study their brains. Like you said, Eden, the psychological effect. We need to know, like, these people are very, very unique people. Like, they're not like 99.9% of people in the world. And that's the reason why we need to understand and study, like, why are they like the way they are? Because I'm sure we're gonna get so many good insights from understanding, like, these people are not normal. Basically, they're not normal. They do have like elements of psychopathy. I'm pretty sure they share a lot of traits of like sociopaths and psychopaths. Like, if you can draw a line between, and I've often made the point about some of the most infamous serial, what, in the world, like people that we've thought
Mm,
about, like, oh my god, you know, they unalived 50 people, and we're like, we've never seen anything like this before. In one bombing raid,
mm,
armies have killed
yeah.
hundreds, and everyone's just like, oh yeah, that's fine. Like, how do you compare, like, I said Obama makes Ted Bundy look like a choir boy. Like, there's no comparison, but somehow he's celebrated and venerated as like this incredibly successful person. And people like that, again, I don't want to go on too much of a tangent. Why don't they retire? Yes, Princess, share the
Um,
live, guys, share the live, like the live, let's do all of that.
said to me that the live is gonna end
Mhm.
because of inactivity or something. Hold on,
I
bear
think you
with
can
me.
click something to like change that.
Oh,
I think it's like when you haven't touched the screen or something like that, maybe. Leave my
okay.
Obama. Oh
Sorry,
my, we
then.
have some Obama lovers in the audience. Anyway, let me not get too distracted. I think we're making good progress though. So we we spent a lot of time on the fourth question, which I can probably highlight. Let me try and highlight it so people know what we're talking about. So we're on this question, guys.
Sorry, I just before you move on, somebody said that the world runs on money. I think his name is Ruben, and I just have to strongly disagree. It
Oh,
doesn't.
tell us
The
more.
world does not run on money. The world runs on control. It runs on what they want you to believe, and then we continually feed into that, and then we sit in our ignorance because we don't have. They distract us with what they think, with what they want us to think is necessary. So they distract us with meritocracy. They distract us with, oh, you have to, in order to be successful, you have to get married, for example. You don't need money and power to control. No,
Daniel said money is
like people.
control.
Mm, no,
You don't think so? In our capitalist system,
no.
how can you disagree with that?
In the capitalist system, I just okay, cool. Let me. Who is they? We don't know who is they. We don't know who is they, but they is
They.
they. We don't know who they are.
Remember when
They
DJ
is
Khaled used to talk about they? They don't want to see us win. They don't want to see us
because
succeed. They.
I need to write about the they. They said you definitely need money for control in a capitalist society. I just
That Daniel
there's
also said that.
something that's
Someone in my thing also said that as well. Guys, I'm up to
yeah, but
7
there's something.
active viewers. We need to get to 10. Please share the live, like it, tell your friend to tell a friend, drag people in here. My
Listen,
goal
we're
for
on
today is
14 on this side if that helps.
21
Like
together, all together. But it would be nice to get at least double digits on both, guys. Come on. That's my goal for this live stream today to try and because I've been doing around 7, 8 a lot. So it'd be nice to show some progress and get to 10. Anyway, I won't be offended if you guys don't, but I mean, I'll be sad a little bit. Anyway, so you were saying you don't think money is. How can you say that though? Because a lot of people will just say, like, all the people that are influential in life, there's no broke ones amongst them.
yeah. Okay. I get what's being said. Mm, how do I it's about who you know, if that makes sense. Because you can have like I guess it's like a mixture of both. I guess I'm gonna concede that point a little bit. I'm gonna
Right.
concede that a little bit. For now, anyway, I need to go and have a think. But oh, somebody said wealth is bigger than money. Think. Do you know what? Thank you for saying that. I think that helps to
What
hit the
does
nail
that
on the
mean
head.
though? What does that mean? People just be
Think
saying
what
stuff
it
to sound
means
good,
is
like.
that wealth is historical. Wealth is rooted in like the infrastructures of the world.
Hmm.
Like you're being passed on legacies with your wealth. But me, as the black girl that I am, I should go and collect, okay, let's say a billion, 2 trillions of pounds. I'm not gonna be worth anything unless I have those links and those connections. Because
Oh,
I think that's
I
what
get
you
what you
get from
mean.
wealth. It's about exactly
It could be
time.
like Rihanna's a billionaire, but you don't really think of her as having like real influence because
You see, because she's not invested into the stocks that they want her to
yeah,
invest in.
there's levels in it. There's levels to billionaires even.
There's levels to it, and there's also a level of bad things that you would have had to do.
I mean,
Yeah,
but
all of these.
could you say someone like people that make their money in that way? Rihanna made a lot more money from the makeup stuff actually, so maybe I disagree with that because I was also people that make their money
Yeah,
through like the kind of artists, the kind of artistry like footballers and people that just make their money through their talent. Is that a bit different because it's not exploitative? Like I don't know if that kind of actually goes into a different conversation, which is not really exactly related to this. We've had a lot of useful insight into the fourth question here, which is if nihilism is a reaction to the economic system we have. Um, and the point I've made, and some people we had some really good insight into this, which is like if we have a system like this where even the richest people in this system they're still also slaves to it because the way you kind of maintain your power is to just keep going for the next million and the next billion and the next this and the next that, and there is no end to it. In a way, you're also a slave to
have
the
you heard of
system. Hmm?
have you heard of Schopenhauer?
Schopenhauer. No, the name sounds familiar, but I don't. What is?
Schopenhauer is a philosopher who said that life is a pendulum swinging between pain and boredom, and
Oh,
he argued that we should lose the will to life. Basically, we should lose the will
damn.
to live because we need to stop because all we do is want and keep wanting, and that's kind of what the system wants us to do. We need to relinquish these wants in order to be free.
Life is a
Does that
pendulum between pain and
swing in
boredom.
between?
Oh,
Like
that
there's
sounds so depressing. That
yeah,
sounds
it
so
is, to be
depressing.
honest.
Um,
Yeah,
but
but he doesn't.
I think there probably is some truth to that. Which again I think to me almost kind of proves my point, which is like the reasons why we do what we do are probably again to either not feel pain or not feel bored. But beyond that, there's no other reason. I don't know where to place this where you guys can read it. I'm so sorry. Where there's no other reason as to why. Actually, no. Oh my God, Bliss asked a question earlier about. I completely forgot now. Daniel, I- um, I'll get to that, please. Just give me a second. Bliss asked a question earlier about if life has always been this kind of bad. Like, was there a time where it was better in terms of maybe more equitable, more equal, and stuff like that? Not that I can think of. I don't know if you know anything about that either.
No, when I think of no, when I think of like philosophical history,
Right.
what they do in philosophy is they always start from the state of nature. The state of nature is a theoretical state in which the beginning of the world, human beings existed in and of themselves without interaction, and the point at which humans started interacting, it went downhill from there. So according to Hobbes, human beings are nasty, brutish, and short,
Ah,
because as soon as they start interacting with each other, they're now in this constant war to gain resources for themselves, because
right.
their survival instincts want them to do things for themselves, and it causes them to betray people, it causes them to steal, it causes them to hoard. And that's his theory, and in order to fit that, we need to subscribe to a political what's his name, he called
Theory.
it
Uh,
no. We need to subscribe to the guy, dictator. Like, yeah, we need to subscribe to a dictator who's gonna make decisions for us and ensure that everybody gets the bare minimum at least. However, on the other hand, there's Rousseau, who argues that human beings are innately good, and we existed in a time where human beings, were self sufficient. We got food for ourselves. But once we started having families,
mhm.
um, it turned into obviously a political structure in which now social interaction made us bad. So for me, I don't think there ever was a time that people have lived okay. But yeah, I guess there are countries
I mean that
like
makes sense, right? Because a lot of people point to like native people and the way they live and how it's like at least it respects the planet and stuff like that. I mean, a lot of those systems very questionable in terms of the how women got on in those systems in those systems. It wasn't exactly the most
Oh my gosh,
utopian in
somebody
terms
asked
of
me how did they stop wanting to destroy themselves.
how
I'm
did what?
scared. Someone said, "How do I stop wanting to destroy myself?" What
Ah,
do I say?
should we give you a hotline number, bro?
Literally, what is it? 116123.
Yeah, that's the
Samaritans,
one.
please.
Nelft. I mean, if you give you Nelft or something like talking therapies or something. Anyway, I think in terms of that point, please. I guess the next question on that would be like, can we imagine an alternative? Because right now we let's be honest, we all blame capitalism, whatever you want to call capitalism. I'm not
Mm,
going to try and define it because that gets into all sorts of what socialism is capitalism, blah blah. But we all blame our
mm,
general economic system for the reason why we see a lot of suffering, right? If you think about wars, they fought for resources. If you think about like exploitation, it's because of resources, blah blah. Is it possible for us as humans, given that we're so smart? Emanuela said text shout to 85258. I think she's actually being serious because Emanuela is actually in the psychology space. So I think that might actually be a genuine a genuine number. 85258, by the way. That's the number if you're going through stuff and I need to speak about it.
the
Anyway.
number I said is also genuine.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Samaritans,
Samaritan. Yeah,
one one
yeah,
six
yeah.
one two.
Look at us, we're offering advice. This is great.
Yeah,
Um
we're helping the people.
yeah, helping the people, exactly. So is it possible for us, given that we're all so smart, you're all smart people here, to imagine or slash design a system that can be better than this? Because
Yes.
what a lot of people that believe in capitalism say is like, oh, we've tried all the other systems before, they don't work, blah 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 blah.
Ah, they lie.
Is there a way we can
They lie, Emmanuel.
is there a way we can design a kind of way of being? And I would say that to say like if you look at other animals, for example, if we look at is it maybe we've been talking about lions? Let's go back to lions. See, lions have their pride system and stuff like that. I guess if you could ask them like, are you guys happy in this system? Would you want to have any tweaks to this? Like in the pride, the males don't really hunt, just be sleeping and chilling all day. They defend the pride when it needs to be. But like, I'm up to 9 active listeners. Let's go. Almost one more to get to 10.
I'm on 18. I was gonna tell you this was good.
Yay! We're on 27 in total. Very nice, guys. Very, very. Keep sharing the live, guys. Keep clicking on the live button, on the like button. Let help expand our reach. Let's get more interesting and original thoughts in here. Hopefully, someone can come on as a guest. A lot of my listeners are very just scaredy cats. No one wants to speak. Just we have interest. They're all.
People want to speak, but hey, Eden, I've been loving so much of your content. Hillary, I love you.
Oh, I'm up to
Yeah,
10.
right.
Yes, let's go. Up to 10. Let's have it. Let's go. Oh, someone requested to join. Yes, UK. Accept this guest. You disconnect. Oh, he's gonna disconnect my co-host if I. Huh? How? Why? No.
Okay, I can drop off and watch.
He's already come
Wait,
up.
how do you add them as a guest though?
When I click on, wait, sorry, can you request again? Sorry, UK Crunts. That's your thing. I'm sorry, I'm still trying to figure this out. Apparently, it seems like I have to um
This connects me in it.
I think so. Sadly,
How
um,
rude.
how rude, isn't it? What? Okay, right.
Very rude, man.
Let's hear
Yeah.
from this guy, and then you can come back and kind of hear what he has
Yeah.
to
I'm
say.
still here. I'm still here.
Hello,
Hello, hi.
how you doing, man?
I'm doing good, bro. Hope you're doing good as well.
I'm not bad. I'm very happy because you've joined and now I've hit 10 active listeners. So thank you so much, mate. Really, really appreciate that.
Uh,
Congratulate me, guys. Send some likes, some gifts, or whatever. I don't know if you have to.
Congratulations, man.
Appreciate it. We appreciate it. So can we get some? I don't know if you want to do some background introduction first before you get into it, or
Um, I was listening to like the conversation bit, like where she was talking about like to 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 kind of become a person.
hmm
Almost, we have to get rid of like our. I don't know how did she say it again. The Schopenhauer quote she pulled, where she said to become a person, you have to not listen to like your wants
yeah, yeah.
and
hmm
but that's like all the stuff that's all the stuff that life signals at you your wants, right?
Yes, exactly. Like your base desires. So maybe
Do you know what she meant by that, like how she,
how she was
like
what?
how to go along, like how to essentially adhere to that, because it seems like so anti it seems impossible.
It seems impossible to do what?
Say that again, please.
It seems impossible to do what?
It seems impossible to not listen to like your to wants, to not be attached to like your wants and focused on it.
Okay, wait 1 second. Be coming back. All right. So maybe to make it easier, if I can have your general thoughts on like the question itself, like the fact that life has no objective meaning. Do you have any kind of specific opinions on that?
Yeah, I think okay. I am holding two contradictory views
Oh,
in
oh,
my head.
okay,
I am I'm a Christian. I believe in Jesus Christ.
right.
So I'm still trying to find like the I so I essentially know what essentially like a part of what my purpose is, right? But then you can still look around and you can see all this emptiness and lack of purpose. So
Oh, wait, hold on a minute. Can you do something for me? Can you? I'm gonna
yeah,
drop you off. Can you go live and then I'll try and add you as a co-host. I think that's what I
okay,
should try to do. Let's try that. So I'll disconnect you and
all right.
then you go live on your thing and then and then I can add you as a co-host. Let me try that.
How will you know if I'm live?
You'll tell me when I go on co-host. You should come up as someone I can invite. I believe.
Okay,
All right, give me a second.
all right.
All right, sorry about that, guys. I think you're right. Just try and merge everyone together. Hopefully, she's still alive. She's still alive. Okay, and then hopefully, then he comes up as well. Boom, we are back. So what I'm trying to
We're
do
back.
is, if I click on co-host again, maybe I can also bring him on because there's multiple spaces. Yes, I can bring other people on as well. Oh, finally, I figured it out. Sorry, guys. I know you guys missed me. Sorry to your audience. I disappeared for a bit. Um,
Oh my gosh, Henry, where's the same uni? Stop! Stop! Stop!
yes. Okay. Is there a way?
Sorry.
UK Crunch, have you gone live already? I haven't seen you on here as a co-host. But when you go live, you should come up.
No.
What are you celebrating here?
Would you be a Christian if the concept of hell didn't exist? Deeper.
Oh,
These are the questions now that
these
you
are
can
the
start
these
asking.
are the things to be talking about. All right, so I think we've done question 4. Question 5, I think we've kind of already touched on as well, right? Because like, how do I do the eraser? Did we develop this system because it reflects the emptiness of our existence? So again, the theory being that like our system doesn't have rhyme or reason, so it follows on that we would invent stuff like our economic system. Okay. capitalism, whatever you want to call that, because it doesn't have rhyme or reason. But I think the point we got to was like, could anyone imagine us developing a system that would be more
Yeah.
equitable than this one? So did you have any comments in your live stream from that? Or does anyone in my live stream have any thoughts on alternative, I'll call it economic principles? Let me not call it systems, because again, let's get into what's a system, what's not. Any alternative principles we can live by that would guide the way we distribute wealth? Again, this is a massive question, right? So feel free to kind of take
Mhm.
it in sections. But if you just think about what we have now as a system, to summarize, is like
Yeah.
we try to make money for the purpose of making money, right?
Someone
Fundamentally.
said, I think we would have social world baselines,
What does that mean?
then distribute wealth.
Oh, as in like
Uh,
I'd agree like a baseline for everyone's basic existence. That's good.
yeah,
I think they've done
and
that
then
already. Like,
distribute
isn't there
wealth.
like a poverty line which is like the $1 a day or something like that?
Yeah, and 95% of the world is living under it. So
So I think
what
I think
difference does that make?
I think what they've done is they've done the first part of the test and just left it after the homework and left it
Yeah, they said, okay, let's make it look. And
there.
that's the thing. I don't think they do it for show. They do it
Right.
just to say that they did it, but who actually cares?
UK.
In Judaism, they don't believe in the concept of hell. So, sorry, that wasn't relevant.
Okay.
Someone says the problem with communism is that there are no PS5s. Why am I reading this stuff out? You lot wasting my time. And this is how I'm gonna read it before I read it out. Can I answer your question? I think
Mhm.
so. Okay, I think it's definitely possible to theorize. 100%, it's possible to theorize, but I don't think it's possible to do it. In reality, because there's always gonna be that guy. Like, there's always gonna be that one
That
person
one person
who,
wants to
like,
take the whole thing
you're.
first.
Yeah, man, you're not helping. But
Yeah.
I'm just hoping that, like, we. Oh, someone said, okay, wait, let's make it smaller. The UK. Okay.
Okay. That's a
Is it possible
thank you
to
very
do
much for that.
that?
Simplifying it down. So what would that look like in the
Yeah.
UK? Like this
Now, this is the
alternative system.
question.
Give me the loot. I just remember that when someone said about taking it for themselves, remind me of that Biggie song. Give me the loot.
There's a debate between Rawlsians.
Hmm.
So I don't know if you've heard of Rawls. He's a very prominent figure in politics. There's a debate between Rawlsians and people like Charles Mills,
Hmm.
and it's a question of idealism or non-idealism. So non-ideal theory, sorry, and ideal theory. Ideal theory is the idea that we strip everything back and we pretend that we are playing with the world from scratch and we create our own
A
society, we create
tabula
our own rules
rasa.
and regulations.
Ooh, remember?
Exactly a tabula rasa. And we make our own society from scratch and implement rules and regulations to make sure that everything is equal. However, Charles Mills, he comes in and he's like, I'll be real, that doesn't bang. It sounds nice in theory, but the issue is that it doesn't address rectificatory justice, which I think is
Mm.
a very good point. It does not address fixing inequalities that have already happened. So, I'm sorry to be that woke girl, I'm sorry to be that guy, but what's the word? Re, what's the word, guys? When you give people money back after you disgrace them, what they gave to the Jewish people after they did the Holocaust. What's
Restitution.
the word? No, come on, guys, you've got this. You've got
What they
this.
gave to the Jew.
Reparations! Oh
Oh.
my god, thank you. Reparations. Thanks, guys. Okay,
Okay.
wow, the chat is smart. Oh my gosh, we should play. What's it called? Articulate. Anyway, besides the point. Reparations. Like, how do we address issues like reparations? And what's so interesting is they always make it seem like, oh, reparations for slavery, the transatlantic slave trade is not possible. Guys, again, that's what. Excuse. Someone said, "Where's the reparations for African Americans? Where's the reparations for Africans?
Where are we taking this conversation? Now we're talking about
Where are the
reparations.
reparations?"
Where are we going with this?
Okay, let me land. Sorry. The reason why we're talking about reparations
Go on.
is because if we do this ideal theory and we create, okay, this is a just theory, just slap on the just theory and all of the rules and regulations, that's not going to address the historical issues. It's not going to address the racism that came as a result of the slave trade, for example. It's not going to address the wealth inequalities, and it's not going to make anybody feel better after what has happened. So it's a question of, are we sitting here trying to create a theory that's an ideology, or are we here trying to create a structure that's going to fix what has happened now. Like, that's what my question is. Are we doing ideal or non-ideal theory?
If you go back to the idea of
Okay.
of life as a blank slate, so imagine if let's do that thought exercise, and maybe I'll direct it at you then. We all come back and our brains are wiped, and you're the only one that has a brain that still has, like, I don't know, stuff to think about or whatever, like some remembrance of how things used to be, etc., etc. Let's not make it the whole world. Someone said the UK. Let's just even say like 100 people. Let's even make it like a small little town or village or whatever.
Okay, this
What
is good. I
kind of
like this.
stuff
Yeah.
would you implement? So there's 100 people, 99 plus yourself. What kind of stuff would you implement? Like, what kind of economic system would you start to put in place? Give us some, like, your 5 rules or whatever.
But just to answer my question, are we doing ideal or non-ideal theory? So am I trying to, like, is this based on history? Or is
No, no,
it
no. Based on whatever you think will work. Like, clearly you've seen this capitalist system, whatever. It's not great, right? You have a chance
what
to
would I
make
do?
something, yeah, for yourself. How would you do? What would you be
Um,
doing? What kind of systems would you be implementing as a way of life, principles, that kind of thing?
okay, I think I'm not going to use any words here because I don't want anybody to say that I'm describing a theory incorrectly.
Hmm.
So I'm just going to describe what I think it should be. So, for
Perfect.
one, I think there should be that baseline of everybody should have a house.
Okay.
Everybody should have a house that accommodates the amount of children that they have. It should accommodate the family that they have.
Hmm.
And I think I will also implement a threshold. Like, you can't go past this level.
Mm.
Nobody should live somewhere where they have too much. You should,
Okay.
if you have 5 kids, you should have 6 rooms,
So you're gonna
you
you're
know,
gonna, you're gonna
for
introduce a
you
floor
and your
and a cap.
children. Sorry?
You're gonna introduce a floor and a cap.
Yes, I'm going to introduce a floor and a cap.
Okay, and
Yeah.
that's for
Someone said,
housing.
who will build the houses? Will there be workers? Great
We
questions.
can always get to that later.
Um,
Let's just talk about how the system itself will be, because now we're
okay.
gonna get into like, oh, if I build this, but
Will there be
someone in my
money?
live stream said this ain't going well already. Guys,
Why isn't it going well?
we'll do the practicality of how you would do it. Because I think right now, even if our system, what already happens is like
Yeah.
we don't even have a agreed baseline, isn't it? Like, so let's start with that baseline first, because a lot of rich people really don't care about whether or
What
not
is the baseline going to
poor
be?
people have food or whatever. They don't care. So, like you said, you're gonna
Exactly.
have a baseline for
Let's take
housing,
that.
a floor for, like,
I want it.
everyone is gonna have, I don't know, one room, a house, but then a cap of, like, you can't have too many,
Yeah.
which I think you decided is like one more room than whatever. Okay, forget even the numbers.
For
For
example,
example, yeah, a floor and a cap,
yeah,
housing.
I
What
think
else
a
would you
universal basic income
universal
will
basic
become a
income?
more popular political argument in the coming years. I think that's another thing that I need to think about, like how people are gonna make money, how we gonna function, like how people gonna get food.
Hmm.
GC.
There are, I think there's one
Um,
state in America that has universal basic income.
yes, I think we need a dictatorship, 100%.
Eh?
So if someone says, so you'd be a dictator, absolutely, yeah. What we need
Dictator?
is dictatorship. Yes,
Really?
yes, yes, yes. Yeah,
What?
yeah, yeah.
Tell me more
Yeah,
about
we need a
why you think this.
dictatorship, and we need the dictator. Obviously, the dictator knows what that they're gonna do what they can for the best of the people. I think our problem is that we're too free, we're too liberal
Is that
sometimes.
possible
Sometimes you
though?
see, what's his name? Torino. What's his name in guys? Another one for you. The guy. What's the country? The country. It starts with A. It's not Angola. Is
Top said,
he's
could it
currently
work?
he kicked out the French.
It's what
Burkina Faso doesn't start with A. Doesn't start with A. Oh god. Burkina Faso. Okay, so the guy is currently leading Burkina Faso. They dragging me now in the chat because I'm confused. So wait, do you know what's happening with Burkina Faso?
It's so funny you mentioned that, because as a journalist that I am,
He's a dictator, bro.
I've been trying to do some primary research on
Guys,
Burkina
I'm
Faso,
screaming.
and I think I might have found someone.
Yeah.
Problem with Burkina Faso is that no one speaks anybody English in that country. So trying to find someone to interview on what's actually going on there is harder than you think. But I
You
will
not
just
speak
say,
French. Learn French.
yeah, that might be the other thing to do about that. But I think I might have found someone. We'll
I
see.
don't think they're even allowed to speak French there anymore.
Nah, they speak
I
French.
think provide them
He speaks
basic.
French. He speaks French. He has no choice. But anyway, someone just said power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. Exactly. The kind of people that get to those positions, like we mentioned earlier, they're not normal. So there's no way you're gonna have like a benevolent one, because the things you do, or even the desire, yes, tap the screen, guys. The things you do, or even the desire to want to get to that stage, inherently requires you to be a bit insane. Because if you're not insane, you
Yeah,
wouldn't want
but
to do
I
that in the
feel
first
like
place.
there's now the assumption that that's a bad thing.
Well, yes, it is. We're just
It's
talking
about
about
what
how
you
that
do
leads
with
to
it.
the kind of world we have
No,
now, right?
no. It's about what you do with it. Because, like, for example, if you look at autism, people can say is quote unquote bad, but in fact, no, not even. With autism, like you get two sides of the spectrum.
Right.
You get on one side is like what do they call it? I know they don't like to use this terminology anymore, but it's the best way for me to explain. There's low functioning autism and high functioning autism, and it's like some people get hyper focused on trains. Other people are going to be hyper focused on trying to make the world a better place. So it's like, of course, like there are going to be psychological issues with certain people, but it's about what they do with that. So when I say we need a dictatorship, 100%, we're going to
But
end up
I'll be so real
finding
though.
the people.
The kind of people that are gonna be autistic
Mm,
and want to make the world a better place are
mm,
probably gonna be somewhere on a beach,
mm.
dancing naked, drinking wine. I don't think they're gonna try and be president. Those kind of people don't have the ambition that's required to like want to actually save the
I
world.
don't think that's so untrue.
They're more
That's
like the
just not
hippies.
true.
You don't think so? They're more like the hippies, like,
No, not
oh,
at all.
let's all have a kind of
Not at all.
kumbaya
And
and
I
all
think that's
that
a very
stuff.
strange assumption to have. A very, very strange assumption to
It's not,
have.
I don't think it's.
No.
I think it's true. I think again, if you
Which autistic
realize,
person do you know dancing and that's a hippie on the beach? Like,
well,
where did you even get
I don't
that
know why I'm
from?
assuming those people are a bit autistic, but I don't know. It's because you mentioned the people that
Do
believe
you
in the
know what
world.
autism is?
No, yeah, I do actually. Well, okay, I don't want to. Let me not say that bit, but I think more generally, the people that are. It's hard for you to imagine someone that genuinely believes like I want to make the world a better place, and this is not like Superman and stuff. And then they're gonna like climb, because even for you to get to a dictator, if you go back to the Burkina Faso guy, I've seen a lot of
Yeah.
fancy what do you call it, graphics around all the
Yeah.
amazing things he's doing. But guys, if we just turn
Uh-huh.
our thinking brains on for a second, if you're a dictator in any functioning country right now, the only way to become a leader is to have consent of two
Uh-huh.
people. Either you have popular consent, like the whole country votes for you in a democracy or whatever, or you have the consent of the people that are ruling the country by force. Now, when you take power, the only reason you last that long is because you're doing stuff that's in the interest of the people that make it their business to have
Mm-hmm.
people in power or don't. So it's very, very likely, in
Mm-hmm.
fact, I can guarantee as a fact right now, that this guy is working with some of the richest people in Burkina Faso. That's why he's staying in power. If he stopped serving their interest, he wouldn't be in power very long. That's how these things go.
But
So
he's serving the interest of people.
is he? Based on what? We've seen like some fancy edits. He has the military, that's for sure. Again, we don't know how much he has the people, but I'm willing to wager now, even a lot of the people in Burkina Faso are very ambivalent to who's actually leading them. As long as probably there's relative stability, I don't think they care that much. But the idea that he has the people, I need to see more
I
evidence for
think
that.
we need to start somewhere. I think we need to start somewhere, and that's a place. That's a place to start from. Do
Where's
you
the
know what
place
I
to start?
mean?
The dictator.
The pla- he's yes. I think genuinely, the only thing that's gonna get us somewhere is if we have a benevolent enough dictator.
How do
That's
you?
my belief. But anyway, what I was saying is that, for example, he's fixing the education system. He is like dealing with colonialism in a way that no other country thus far, from my belief, has dealt with it.
How so?
Allegedly, some of that
I,
misleading. Anyway,
exactly. A lot of these things
um,
don't even have primary sources for. We just see like pictures or graphics on Twitter, like, oh, you just invented it. Okay, really? Like, we don't even know what's going on here. Like, apparently, it was only even meant to be a transitional government. It was meant to have elections. Like, governing without the consent of the people you're governing, it's hard to just take that seriously as a thing. Like, if you're just doing it by decree because I have the military and you don't.
Hillary is saying that they have closed media systems. We have almost zero sources,
Exactly.
which I can believe.
Exactly.
A lot of the things is assumptions, but can we do this based on assumptions? Let's not root it in Burkina Faso then. Let's say that there is a country. I still believe that it's a dictatorship that's going to get us out of the most basic issues that we have, especially when it comes to economic issues, because a dictator will be in a position to facilitate wealth distribution, for example. And once we get there, then we can start thinking about moving away from different, to a different political structure, for example.
So, but how's the dictator gonna get there? Like, is it just gonna be some random benevolent
I don't know,
guy
but I thought we
somewhere in
were
a
doing ideal
country?
theory. I thought we were doing ideal theory.
So I guess if you
So,
started your own world, you'd make yourself a dictator. Then that sounds like what you're saying.
100%, and I'll be a damn good one. But every dictator thinks that they would be. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And part of what someone mentioned about that the power corrupting you is that there is something to even be said about what happens to your mind when you do genuinely have absolute power. It's probably not good things because all of us when we have even on a micro level, right, in human relationships, when you have power over someone, it's very, very easy to misuse that.
Guys, like the life.
Parents do that all the
Uh-huh.
time, right? Parents have absolute power over us for the most part when we're growing up, and they misuse that in so
Yeah.
many ways. Even though they have, for the most part,
I think,
good intentions and they love their children,
let's not generalize. You're African, right? You're even Nigerian.
right?
You're even
Yeah,
Nigerian.
yeah.
Let's not generalize.
What do you
Let's
mean?
not generalize about what parents do. Because a lot of our parents are going, they have their own issues, which is why they pass it on to their children.
Mm,
But when you look at the dictatorial, now the dictatorship power that a parent has,
mm-hmm.
the children get brought up like the children, like most of the time, they have food, they have water, they have a place to stay. And I think my point is we need to start in a place where people get to the basic necessities and then we can move away from that. We need somebody to take control and sort out the economic and political state of the world, and then we move from there.
But my
So
point
where?
wasn't about that. My point was about
But exactly, they could also get abused. They could. There's always going to be a hypothetical. They could. But
no,
let me let Ade speak.
but I don't think it's a matter of they could. I think it's a matter of they will. Like
No,
psychologically, again, when you have, I can't see any evidence for someone having that level of total power and it
the
not
dictator will remove
messing up your
himself.
mind. It's not possible. Like our brains are basically too fragile for that.
I think the
It's
issue
very
is
easy for you to just
I
start
think the
using shit
issues of
yourself.
the issues of the individual, and I think that's the issue. Like me as a dictator, I think I'm gonna do my best to do what is in the best interest of the people, and then move away when. Eden, I think you should look into Giddens equality of opportunity theory. I think you'll like it. Me too. I'll hold space with that. I might message you after this. Anyway, I think me as a dictator, I will do my level best to do what I can for the amount of time that I have. And then when I think the country's in a place where it's time to move on, we will move on. But a lot of the worries that you guys have is because like you have assumptions that these people are going to be bad people. They
But
won't.
then
Let's assume that they won't.
let's say someone else was gonna come in after like your turn, would then couldn't you just easily then say like, but they don't have the best intentions. The intentions are bad, even though you might be right, but that would just be a reason for you to just keep on staying on there then, which then people would be like, actually, you know what, you've overstayed your welcome. I think there's a humility in admitting that like I know for a fact, in as much as I understand a lot of the world's problems and the way it goes and stuff, I cannot be a dictator. I'm not like I'm
Yeah.
I'm a human. That's all you can say about it. I'm human. I can accept my limitations and say like it won't be good. It just won't be good. Um, like we're not strong enough to do that. Like one person cannot and should not have power over everyone like in a totalitarian way. Like it's not good for your mind. Even I think
Maybe not for
athletes are
you.
athletes are a good
Maybe
example.
not for
What happens
you.
with a lot of
Maybe not
athletes?
for you.
Yeah, that is it's Eden, I think you have to be humble here. It's not about me or
No, I
or
don't.
what's
But
supposed.
that's the thing. No, I don't think so.
Yeah,
I don't think so. And no one's gonna make me believe that. No, I'm standing very, very strong and firm in my beliefs, and
right.
no one's gonna make it seem like, oh, but it's ego, or oh, you lack humility. That's not it. I want the best for the people, and I believe strongly that I'll be able to do that. And if you don't believe that, that is you. You shouldn't project that onto me. And I think that you
Oh,
also shouldn't
you're a life coach
project
now or
that
something.
onto the other people. Say again.
I think you're a life coach now or something.
Say again.
So yeah, you're a life coach now.
A life coach. Well, to be honest, you have to be your own life coach in order to get through, because I feel like this is what happens all the time. People, especially women, they get told that, oh, you can't do X or you can't do
What?
Y. Oh,
What's the
you need to,
feminist angle?
to
This is ridiculous. So what?
why? Hold on. You're not gonna call it ridiculous. Let's not do that. And also, first of all, let me land.
All right, go on. All right, go on.
Let me land where I'm going.
All right,
Yeah.
please
Okay.
go
Thank you.
on.
A lot of the time, as I said, especially women, what happens is when you see somebody who's confident, when you see somebody who is set in their beliefs, it becomes wow, oh my gosh, how you like, why do you feel like that? Why do you feel like you can do that? Because based on my intuition, based on what I know, X is the case, or you won't be able to do Y. And I don't think that's a good enough reason for you to think that a dictatorship is not possible, which is your assumptions on what humanity is, because you can always just assume the other way.
But is there a reason why, in your view, then we used to have dictatorship type things like kings and stuff,
The person is going to be good.
but we got rid of that? Is there a reason why we did that?
Got rid of what?
Like, we used to have kings, right? Like unelected people that they were dictators essentially. They had total power over everyone. But there's a reason
Yeah.
why the world is moving
And
away
that's,
from
if
that.
I don't
And
know,
most people think that's
but
an
I'm gonna say
improvement.
yeah, maybe we did. But when the kings existed, there was also like parliament. There were also councils. So
That,
that
that was
wasn't really
that
dictatorship.
was a recent thing. Parliament is very recent. Before that, there was nothing like that. That actually happened because, again, they wanted to make it more democratic and reduce the dictator's power, not increase it.
I don't think a monarchy is a dictatorship.
How is it not?
Bear with me.
Okay, one second. I'm actually making a new thing as well.
Sorry,
Because
keep talking so I can find out. Because let me not come here and be spewing things that doesn't
someone
even make a sense.
someone responded to you and said, like, what's best for you is not what's best for everyone else. So you think you have some good intentions, right? You
Okay,
mentioned
in what way? In
but
what way?
you
Because
mentioned the example
I'm
of
not even saying that I'm being stressful.
sorry, go on.
I said in what way? Because I never claimed. Sorry,
Wait,
in what way? Because I never claimed that I'm doing what's best for me.
what did you claim you're doing best for? Best for everyone.
People, what I think,
Yeah, so it's your
what I
opinion.
think is the best for
Yeah,
people.
so it's your opinion. So it is really
Yeah,
like,
but that's not what's best for me.
no, as in, like, your opinion about what's best isn't necessarily true, is what they're saying. It doesn't really matter if
Yeah,
it's
100%. It's never going to be, and I never claimed that it will.
so how exactly would
So
you
the
tackle
point
that?
is what
If other people then come and say, like, you're wrong, so, like, maybe you shouldn't have power because you don't know what you're doing.
the thing that we need to understand is that in order to be tolerant, you have to be intolerant to certain things. So what we need to
Go on, I'm listening.
know, but like you're laughing and you think that the laugh is gonna mean that what I said doesn't make sense. So
No, go on. Okay, go on.
is it that you don't understand? So I can
No,
explain.
okay, please. I'll let you finish. I'll let you finish.
Yeah. So in what I'm saying is you can't be tolerant to everything. You can't accept everything, because then it's just going to be a slippery slope of madness. So in that case, what I'm saying is we should create a world in which we're doing our best to accommodate for the most people, to accommodate the things that make the most sense. But it's not everything that you're gonna be able to accept, because there's gonna be like people are gonna complain about something all the time, and people are gonna say that if you people are gonna start for people are gonna complain about something all the time. People are gonna say, oh, I need this and you're not doing that. People are asking me
So yeah,
like
people ask too
things.
many questions. So if someone just said, if in your dictatorship, is there going to be a mechanism to challenge what you say? Like, if you want to
That's
do
not
this
what a
in society,
dictatorship is.
also there's not going to be no
Like,
challenge. Like, if people say we disagree because this might be bad for us, you're going to be like, I don't care, have it anyway.
I'm definitely gonna take it into consideration, because you always need different people's like what? Sorry, someone is in the comments saying the most rubbish. Like, okay, it's sorry, what was the question again?
So is there going to be a mechanism to challenge your power? Like, like, if someone disagrees with you and say you wanted to implement this policy,
Yeah,
and,
you can disagree with me.
and then they
You can disagree with me.
and then will they
It's
do?
about whether I'm gonna think that that disagreement like is legitimate, if that's like good enough.
So it's still ultimately your
Yeah,
choice, but they can disagree with you.
that's what a dictatorship
What if
is.
you
Yeah,
then disagree with their disagreement, but then there's a majority of them and they're like, actually, no, we want this other thing. Would you then back down and be like, okay, guys, you can have what you want?
I think it really does depend on what it is that they want. It really does depend on what it is that they want. But Wait, what's funny?
Someone said she's got the mindset of a typical African leader. 100 people country is finished already. Oh, guys. Okay, fair enough. I
How's
mean,
that? So how's it?
well, I mean, it's interesting, right? Because it's true. Like a lot of the things you're saying right now is what even the people that are ruling right now with absolute power say to justify what they do. Everyone always thinks their way is
Yeah,
righteous and
but
virtuous.
no, though, because you don't see it. You don't see it. If you look at Nigeria, if the president of Nigeria wants to claim that, absolutely not, because inflation is rising, the country's in absolute tatters. Absolutely not. So it's like there's always going to be a hypothetical. You're always going to be able to say that, oh yeah, but anyone can use that as a justification. Yeah, people can use that as a justification, but that doesn't mean that you're doing what you said that you're doing, because you're not.
But you just said yourself that
That you're
if they
not.
disagreed with you, you could still then do what you want. So then, if in
Yes,
your okay,
yes, because I'm doing what I believe is the best.
so how is that any different from what they're doing? All
Because
it,
they're not doing the best.
yeah, but all it requires is for them to believe it's the best.
You're
You believe it's the best because you're doing it. They believe it's the best because
No, it
they're doing it. What's the
doesn't.
difference?
No, it literally doesn't. This is reductionist. Like, it literally doesn't. And it's like I should sit here and I should claim that, oh, if I collect 99% of the money and I make sure that you guys distribute 1% of the money, I should sit here and say, oh yeah, that's what I believe is the best. Genuinely, I don't believe that.
But
Do you see?
you'd always rationalize it if you were the one in power. Though. That's what it sounds like. Because you actually
Yeah, you
admitted
can
that.
rationalize anything, but I think what we need to not do here is say that I'm gonna do what, like, I'm gonna choose the bad option and do the bad thing, which is like, I'm telling you that is not what I'm gonna do.
But no one's
So can
saying
we
no one's
ask
saying
questions based on the
no
assumption?
one's saying you're gonna do a bad thing. We're saying if the people
Hello,
think
you
it's
literally just
bad.
said I sound like a Nigerian.
I
I
didn't say
sound
that.
like a
Someone
Nigerian.
in the comments said that.
Yeah.
Someone
So
in the
I'm talking to the person in the comments that you literally said that I sound like a Nigerian, whichever, or African,
but it's an
whichsoever
analogy,
you
right?
claim.
It doesn't mean you're doing the same thing as them. The point is that you guys are
Yeah, but I
justifying.
think there's an assumption within it that I am. I think there's an assumption within it that I am. But what I'm saying is that I am going to be functioning on what I think is the best case scenario for equality.
But
And we shouldn't make it seem as though.
but
Go
the
for
point
it.
is that if the people that you want to do those things for, if they think is
Yeah.
bad, and you're faced with a question on whether or not you still want to go ahead with it, you said you still might choose to go ahead with it, even though they think it's bad. So how's
Yes,
that
because
different
it's
from?
in your best
But how's that different
interest.
from what the people now are doing
It's
now?
paternalism. Because it's different, because what you're doing is not what you said that you're doing. What you're doing is bad. That's why it's different.
But you
Because what you're doing
justify
is
it
bad.
using the same
You're
logic. You'd say like, no, you guys can't understand my genius. Like,
okay.
let me just
Okay,
let me land with
let's
this
do
plan.
this.
Okay, all
Let's
right.
do this, because you're repeating your argument but not hearing what I'm saying. Because you're saying that's what they can use to justify what they are doing now.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Right.
but that's not the point. The point is that I'm saying that that's what I'm going to do, and I'm actually going to do it. The question is about what are the functions that I'm going to use, what are the systems that I am going to create. It's not about the theoretical framework, because the theoretical framework can be used to justify anything, as we have both agreed. So now let's move on from that and ask the question of how is my country going to look different to what their country looks like? Does that make sense?
Okay. And in their country, the people are unhappy because policies are being pursued
Hmm.
by the leaders that they disagree with, but they have no choice in
Hmm.
changing. In your country, the people
And,
are unhappy
and
because
why do
policies are
they
being
disagree
pursued
with
by
it?
you that they disagree with, but you're going to do
No.
anyway. What's the difference?
No, because you're trivializing it. No, because what is it that's making them unhappy with the policies that the leader is implementing? Those are the questions that you're supposed to be asking. And what you're going to find is I'm not going to be implementing those policies. I'm going to be implementing policies to which people are going to say yes.
But
The
even when
person
I
in my comment
presented,
that said
go on.
Kim Jong Un, you don't even know what he don't even know what he
But
does.
even in your country, when I've already given you a hypothetical of a policy that people already disagree with, whatever the policy is, they've already disagreed with it and they think it's bad. You said you might still do it anyway. That's the point.
Yes, because when it comes to paternalism, for example, when you look at a mother and a child, the child will say, "Oh no, I don't want to go to school. I don't like school." I should say, "Okay, sit down at home." No, I will force the education onto you because education is important. So yes, if there's a policy in which I believe this is in your best interest
Even
and you
if you
disagree with
disagree.
it, I'm still going to go ahead with it.
But then
Just
but
because
then
the
but
people
then there's no
disagree with it
material
doesn't.
difference then. Because in your country,
There
then
is, there
people are
is,
unhappy
there
about your
is,
policy,
there is.
but you're doing it anyway, right? That's what you're saying.
And they're going to find that it makes them they're going to find that it's in their best interest. The only reason,
Ah,
and I'm talking about specific cases. I'm talking about specific cases. I'm not saying, oh, let's create a world in which there's no electricity for anybody, and then they're going to say, oh, but I would like electricity, and I say, no, no electricity for you. That's not the case. I'm talking about things like education, for example, in which you're going to say, no, I don't want to be educated. I'd rather sit at home and scroll on TikTok every day. I'm going to say, no, you can't do
see,
that.
all the Kim Jong Un comments. You might surprise you guys to know that Kim Jong Un doesn't have nearly enough power as the media portrays him out to be. But that's a completely separate conversation. Kim Jong Un doesn't actually have that much power in this country. But I won't get into that now. In I'll give you an example then. Let's get more specific. So there might be a policy like in right now in our countries, we have certain policies that increase our GDP. But the way they really increase our GDP is because they allow rich people to accumulate more wealth and more money at the expense of
Mm,
other poorer people, but the GDP increases. So using the metric of GDP, the leaders would say to us that this is great, even if we disagree with it. For example, in Nigeria, let's go back to
yeah.
Nigeria's example, they removed the fuel subsidies, and because of that, the price of fuel went up dramatically. Like a lot of the biggest increases we've seen in poverty in Nigeria over the past year or so was because they removed the fuel subsidies. Now, even though that's increased our poverty rates massively, at the same time, GDP of the country is actually growing. And in fact, our credit rating by Moody's and all these people has actually gone up. So the
Okay. Is that in
macroeconomic
the
thing,
best interest of the people?
exactly. So the leaders would argue this is actually good for the country, right? Because the
Yeah, and
credit
then
rating is
they're
going up,
arguing that
blah blah, and then
it
the
would be
people are
wrong.
actually poorer and can't go to work because they can't afford fuel and all that kind
Yeah,
of
so
stuff.
therefore the policy failed.
So as in, so okay, but I haven't actually made a point yet. But the question for you then would be in that country, if you were the leader of Nigeria and you're faced with that choice of like, would you then choose to remove the subsidies, increase poverty, but the economy is going to be better because the GDP is higher and the credit rating? What
I
would you
wouldn't
do?
do that.
What would you do?
I would do what is the best for the people.
What's that then? You're going to keep the subsidies.
What do you mean keep the subsidies?
Okay, let me give you some context. In Nigeria, because fuel is so expensive, like petrol and stuff, the government subsidizes it,
Mm,
and that
mm,
subsidy costs a huge amount of money. Like it's a massive part of the national budget is used to subsidize fuel, which effectively is not efficient for the economy because it's government is spending money on a lot of things that it doesn't bring them any revenue and stuff like that. So over the past 15, 20 years, there's been a conversation around removing the subsidies and basically just letting the market determine what the price of fuel is. So whatever the market price is,
mm.
you pay that, and the government doesn't subsidize it. But a lot of governments, previous administrations, have been reticent to do that because what's going to happen is the market price of fuel is much higher than what people can afford. And so when you remove the subsidy that the government is paying to make it cheaper, the price is going to go up massively. The government of the present administration, he removed the subsidies in 2023. Now, when they did that, the macroeconomic outlook looked good. The GDP was going to be rising. Our credit rating got better. But what happened is that
Mm.
people in Nigeria, it's the poverty capital of the world, so they can't afford it. So what's happened is that a lot of things have become a lot more expensive. So inflation and all that kind of stuff has gone up massively because fuel is more expensive. But the macroeconomics, what people like the PhD Harvard people care about in the economy, the GDP and all these third level metrics, that's all looking good. My question for you is
Yes.
if you were a dictator in Nigeria faced with the prospect of improving our credit rating with Moody's and the GDP and stuff, but because you're going to remove the fuel subsidies to do that, people are going to get poorer. Or keeping the subsidies, having the GDP and all that be negative, but people can live an easier life and there's less inflation. What would you
I would literally do option two.
do? You would keep the subsidies.
Yeah, because like I just did you like I don't understand what hasn't been got from the point that I'm making, which is what I'm doing, like what I'm aiming to do is do what the best thing is for the people. So something like
In your
GDP,
opinion,
even if
right? the best thing to do in your opinion, no?
Yeah, so like, okay, so if it wasn't in my opinion, then what would it be?
But do you accept that your opinion is not always going to be right? Doesn't seem like you do.
100%. When did I say that it was always going to be right?
By making yourself
I
dictator.
agree. I
When you
said
make
that
yourself dictator,
before.
you're already inherent in that decision is the decision that I'm always right. Like you're making yourself
Not
totally the
necessarily.
power, no?
I know for a fact that there are going to be areas in which I will not necessarily have the best concept of what is going on.
Right.
But I will say that my aim is to make the best decisions possible at every single point in time. That will be my aim.
That's your aim. Okay. Now the next question someone asked you that how would you then know if you can go against your own decision? Like if because we asked you the question earlier, if people disagreed
Yeah,
with
and
you.
I said, hear you out. If I don't agree, then because the reason why I won't agree is because it doesn't sound like it is in your best interest. You're making it seem like, oh, you're gonna come to me and say, that I think everybody should have a house, and you're gonna say, oh, I don't think everyone should have a house. That's not
I'm
what
not
I'm
making I'm not making that
doing.
as anything. I haven't. This is an hypothetical. I
No,
haven't
but
said what
that's
specific thing is. I don't even know what could make people unhappy, but a whole host of things that make people unhappy. You never know.
okay. So let's maybe we need to work through some examples so that we can make this make sense. Because
Why
what
don't I,
I'm
why don't I give
saying,
you the fuel subsidy example? No, it was a long-winded one, but you know.
yeah, and I answered the question.
So you said you would keep the subsidies,
Yeah,
and what about
because
the
I'm
fact
doing what
that
is in
that's
the
gonna right? But what that means for the economy though is that the economy is going to continue to be lagging and be terrible, and in the long run, the country might go bankrupt because they keep spending on subsidies that like is basically not good for the economy. So how would you then address that problem?
Sorry, someone said we should send a Zoom link. They want to join. If you go on What in the World Weekly's page, he can add you. Like,
I
if
can
you go
add
on What in the
people as
World Weekly's page, he
co-hosts,
can.
but I think this thing's a bit complicated.
Oh,
Essentially, right
okay.
now, guys, we're co-hosting. So if you guys want to join regularly, I have to
Sorry,
add you
guys, you
as
just
a.
have to listen to our voices.
So you just wait.
Sorry.
That's not exactly what I want to say. Let me just finish. Essentially, we're co-hosting right now, and what that means is that we're both kind of jointly co-hosting. But if you want to come on as a guest, it's gonna kick someone out. It's gonna kick her out because I'm the one hosting the live. It's gonna kick Ethan out of the live, which is great. But the
Me
only
out.
other way to go
Me
around
out. Be
that,
gone.
the only other way to go around that is if you join as a co-host, which means you have to start your own live stream, and then I can add you as a co-host. But I think you have to have like 1,000 something
Oh.
agreement, isn't it, to go live or something like that? Because someone tried to do that earlier. Oh, this
Oh.
guy said the UK Crunch also said the Zoom link, but unfortunately, we weren't prepared for that today, so it's gonna be hard to just pivot to Zoom. Unfortunately, guys, very sorry.
Sorry, we can't go Zoom. Not today.
Not today,
Maybe
but
another time.
yeah. But if you
Ask
try
what
the
in the world.
co-host stuff, if you try the co-host stuff, maybe that can work. But other than that, I might have to ask TikTok and say, how do people get multiple guests? Because I've seen people have like loads of people on their thing, no? Like they have like 10, 12 people at once.
Yeah, it's
How?
usually because people like request.
But that's the guest
It's a
stuff,
different
isn't it?
layout.
Yeah, it's a different. That's the
Yeah,
guest
it's a
stuff.
different
Like,
layout.
so like you guys be
Yeah, like
guests.
the other one that we
But
would
I'm
do
trying
that
to
time.
smooch off
But
Eden's live viewers as much as
sorry,
possible.
I'm really like I'm holding my neck because I really want to get this point
Yeah, go
across.
on, go on, go on, go on.
So I'm gonna start again from the top.
All right.
So wait, I just clocked you changed the question on
Oh,
it. You were so quick with it. Oh my gosh. Okay, cool. I'm okay. I think the issue that a lot of
ah.
people are having is with the principle of me like not listening to certain people.
Mhm.
But what we need to understand, unfortunately, which might sound a bit unfair, is that not everybody knows what's best for themselves. Yes, you can argue that that sounds really patronizing. Yes, you can argue that it sounds like it's a paternal point of view that's not helpful. But for me, I think that it is the best way to go with the state that the world is in right now. When you think of something like epistocracy is the idea that those who are educated in a certain area should lead that certain area. For example, I'm not claiming to be expert in politics. I'm not claiming to be expert in government or economics. Let's just assume that I am. So if somebody is studying chemistry, for example, and somebody who dropped out of school at 16 said, oh, I think water is actually CH4 and not H2O. you're not going to even hear them. Like, you're not even going to sit there and even entertain that conversation. So there are certain contributions from the public, which is going to sound very like you're not hitting the nail on the head. You're not really understanding the point, to which I am going to politely decline and
Right.
ignore in favor of my view that I will strongly believe, based on educational background,
Mhm.
is the correct way to go.
Now, someone asked a great question then, a practical example, which is, if people didn't want to work, would you force them to work?
Yes.
Hey! It's given
Yeah.
1619 projects.
Yes,
Uh-oh.
I will. Because what are you talking
Wow.
about? Let's just be come on now.
Wow.
Let's pack it in. Let
Hey!
us pack it in.
Forcing people to
Now you're gonna
work.
paint me as
Hey! Our ancestors
you're gonna
are shaking in
paint me
their
as the bad.
boots. Oh my
Hello,
God.
Ed, because no, let's not conflate forcing people to work with slavery. You'll be
Yeah, let's
compensated
not
for your time
conflate
and for
those
your
things that
work.
have the
You will be
definitions of the other thing. Yeah,
compensated.
let's not do that. Right. Okay.
Yeah, because it's not the same
What's
thing.
the difference?
Because it's not the same. Wait, sorry, hello.
What's the difference?
Do you understand that it's not the same thing?
Tell me what the difference is.
You'll be compensated. You'll be compensated for your
You're gonna
work.
force them
You
to
will
work
literally
and
get
force them to
paid.
get money. But they said they don't want
Okay,
that.
if you don't want the money, don't have it. If you don't want the money, don't take.
But
What are we
back in the
doing
day, some
here?
slaves were paid, right? They used to pay
And I'm
slaves as
sorry,
well.
you work.
They used to
Sorry,
pay
say
they
again.
used to pay some slaves back in the day, right? The only difference, they didn't have their freedom, but they still compensated them. Like,
Okay, like
so you're gonna enslave
okay,
people
but I'm not
basically in
gonna.
your dictatorship.
But I'm not gonna abuse the people. Like thank you, Samantha. Yes, we
You're
need
not
a
gonna abuse
dictatorship.
them.
They're
You're
not
already
hearing
forcing them to
me.
work. You're already forcing them to work. What do you mean you're not gonna abuse them?
Yes, I'm forcing them to work for their good. The
Ah,
difference between
but they,
forcing somebody to
but
work
they
for
said
their
they're good on
good.
that. They said they're fine. Like, they don't want to do that. Like, they're okay.
Hello, that's selfish. Hello, that's selfishism. Hello, that's egotistic. You're being selfish.
Now, forcing people to
I'm
work
so sorry.
sounds crazy. I'm not gonna lie. That sounds
It sounds crazy, but it's very
crazy.
practical. It's very practical. Because
It's
if I
practical.
start
How?
if I start saying something for you,
Yeah,
you
T100 really wants to come on. T100, can you
we
try
should
and
we
go on
should
live?
exist. We should exist in the world. We should exist in the world, and you're not gonna lift a finger. In what does that ever even make a sense? Even if it was a what do you call it, democracy? Of you're going
Ooh,
to
I
have
can
to
add
go
as
and
a
work.
moderator. Hold on. Does that mean you can be on? You can be talking to
Adding
us?
someone as a moderator doesn't add them to the live. By the way,
Oh, damn it! You just
sorry,
left
sorry
comment.
to burst your bubble.
Damn it!
Sorry to burst your bubble.
Damn it! Ah!
I agree with you. But when people are capable, it's a good idea to
Wait,
have
wait.
as many people
What
contribute.
are people
What are we
saying
talking?
in your comment? Let me hear somebody's comments in your, because I've been
That's
coming
a
at you a
that's
lot.
a very good point.
What are people saying in
You're
your
so
thing?
right.
I'm sure they must be
There are so many
coming
things
at
that
you,
they've been saying.
because yes,
Okay, okay, quite a few people are disagreeing with me. I
what a
know
shock.
someone is saying who determines who knows best. Someone is saying
Oh,
those in power. What? Someone said this. Okay, hold on. I'm trying to scroll through because they're talking to them like to each other.
oh, nice.
Someone said immediately yes after seeing the question. Someone said if they don't work, that will create poverty. Um, someone said, I agree with Eden. When people are capable, it's a good idea to have as many people contributing. Someone said, I believe in the divine order. People are called to govern and others are called to be governed.
Lol.
Um,
Convenient. I'm guessing she's gonna be part of the people that are called to govern. I imagine, right? Very convenient.
yes, because some people are called to govern. I'll be so
She's like, you man, you're called to be led by me, low key, low
yes,
key.
yes. Because no, but in a real way, though, I think it's also about intelligence. It's about intelligence. It's about what you're capable of knowing, where your brain
Yeah,
is
but a lot of
at.
people are
Like,
smarter than you, right? Respectfully, that's smarter than me, obviously, as well, right?
yeah.
Okay, so why shouldn't they be
Did
able
you
to
say you're
say that?
smarter than me?
No, I said, I'm smarter than you and me. I said no. I didn't say. I don't want to start anything. I didn't say that. I didn't say that. I didn't say
Um,
that.
I think the smartest person is not always the best person. I said it's about intellect, but it's not
I'm so dead.
100%.
After I
I
said
think it's
it's
also
who's smarter, she's like,
about.
to be fair, being smart is really not all it's about. I love that switch.
I still don't think I'm the best person for the job, but obviously this is hypothetical, so it's gonna be me in this hypothetical world. I don't think I'm the best
Right.
person for the job, but it's about intellect. But Mark Zuckerberg is smart. Like Donald Trump is smart. Do you know what I mean? Like some of
Yeah,
these people,
true.
you're
Yeah,
smart.
yeah.
However, you're lacking certain capacities, right? Namely empathy and things of that nature. That's going to ensure the best for certain people. So it's not always going to be the smartest person, but like intellect is necessary. So from here, we're already cutting out large chunks of the population because there are a lot of people, in the UK alone that you left school at 16 and you started to work for your dad. Like that's not what we
It's not
need
honest.
to govern the country.
So
That's not what we're
someone
looking
said, should we have
for.
an IQ to vote? I guess that's a bit of a tangential but kind of relevant-ish point, which is
Okay.
like, it's a bit like, would you then say like, oh, you guys challenging me, but you're not really all that smart, so just forget it. Me trying to listen to you.
Would I have an IQ to vote? Oh my
Like, would you
gosh,
have like
stop
an
asking me
IQ
questions that they're gonna
threshold?
talk to me for.
Exposing
Oh,
your interest and views here, mate.
do you know what? Do you know what? I won't. But what I will have is your IQ will be attached to your vote.
What does that
So
mean? Or
I'm
you
gonna know
you
what you
wait you
voted.
wait it, or you're like, okay, all the people that are in the IQ of 70 and below, this is what they voted for and all that.
No, but it's like somebody with a 120 IQ can vote for something that's really dumb, according to me,
20
subjectively,
120 is
according to
quite
me.
high, no?
And no, but that's what I'm saying.
Oh,
You could
oh, okay.
you could have a 120 IQ but still vote for something that doesn't make sense. So
Right,
in my
right.
head it'll be like, so if this person with 120 IQ is voting for this, am I missing something? Do you see? So it's like
It's
I'm gonna
advisory.
see, like I'm gonna scope the scenery. Do you get? Someone said, oh my gosh. Someone said we need empathy as a basis. Do you think empathy is logical? Oh my gosh, such a good question. Someone said IQ to vote is dangerous territory. 100%. I completely agree. Like I said, how can the richest man in the
Oh,
world
wait,
be a
what do you mean you
racist?
agree? You just said you would implement something similar, mate. Try to be
Yeah,
consistent
but
at
it's
least.
dangerous.
Oh,
It
so
can go
you would
wrong.
implement it, but
No,
you
but
acknowledge
hello,
it's
hello,
dangerous.
hello, hello, hello. Critical thinking and nuance. So it's not about consistency. It's the ability to understand and comprehend that yes, there are going to be downfalls and pitfalls to the theory that I actually subscribe to. So I completely do understand that IQ is not the best thing to go off of, which is why I said it's not going to be the threshold, but I'm going to have IQ attached to the vote. I shall continue to read. How can the richest man in the world be a racist? That's placing intellectual capacity as a standard for humanity. Yeah, sociological factors can affect IQ. Exactly.
There's that whole thing about,
Exactly.
remember when you did philosophy? God, sorry, I've been seeing a lot of comments as well. Someone dissed you, but I'm not gonna read it out.
No, read it out. Read it out. Read it out.
Someone said, "Don't let her even see the scent of power. Imagine her as your manager at work."
I think you know what I think I'll be a great manager.
Really?
That's what I think.
Maybe you wouldn't
I
bring the same
manage I
views.
manage a team right now.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough. So there was that thing in the God. Remember, like when we did philosophy of religion, and there
Yeah.
was the is it dilemma, whatever you call it, which is like, is it good because God said so, or does God say so because it's good?
Because it is
Which is like,
good.
are those
Exactly.
policies good
Oh,
because they're, you know,
what
just
was it called? Is
objectively
there
good,
something
or
Euthyphro's paradox?
there you go, there you go, or
Euthyphro's
yeah,
paradox.
or so if I was to ask you the same question, are you suggesting those
Yeah.
things because they are good, or are they? Are you, is it good? Therefore, you say so.
I'll be suggesting it because I believe that it's good. Yeah.
And you still don't have a problem with the fact that, again, that goodness is just based on opinion. Like you're comfortable with that.
Yeah, I'm very comfortable.
Interesting.
I'm comfortable, yeah.
Very,
Because
very.
I'm confident in my goodness.
You back
Like
yourself.
I believe I'm a really good person.
So in that world, in this world, if you became a billionaire right now,
Yeah.
what would you do with your money?
What would I do with my
Yeah, let's
money
get a taste of the kind of dictator you would be then. A
in
billion
this
is like,
world?
yeah, a billion is a lot of money to influence stuff. What
I'm
kind of
going to
things would you be
Africa.
doing? Okay.
I'm going to Africa.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to Africa. Then I will go simply because it's important to me. I'm gonna go to my hometown first. I'm gonna first go to my hometown in Nigeria, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna begin with infrastructure. The issue in Africa, the issue in Nigeria is a lack of infrastructure. We have resources, but we don't have roads. We have resources, we don't have trains, we don't have bridges, we don't have intercontinental transport. What are you talking about? What do you mean we don't have transport from Nigeria, a plane directly from Nigeria to Gambia? Why? How is that possible? The issue in Africa is infrastructure. That's where my billions will go. And then I will invest it. Of course, I will invest it so that the money can continue to grow. And as the money continues to grow, I'm going to continue to invest in that infrastructure. Once the infrastructure is fixed, we're going to now have to begin to look at that infrastructure includes homes, by the way. Infrastructure includes homes, so people's houses, hospitals, schools, so people can have places to attend.
And you're gonna do that all
And
for
then I'm
free, I'm
going to
guessing,
ensure
right?
that, yeah, I don't need to be paid. I have a billion. I'm a billionaire.
Oh, someone said, "Will you charge people to use it?" Okay, that sounds like clearly you're not gonna charge people for it.
Oh,
Okay.
but in order for the economy to go around, at some point, money is gonna have to. But at first, everyone's gonna get everything for free first. Does that
Sound
like
like
you're gonna get
sound like a
it?
typical company. The 1 month free trial. It sound like every other.
Yeah, but in this, you said in this current world, in this
Yeah,
economy,
true. No, you're all right.
they're gonna have to pay.
You do need money
Yeah,
flowing. Yeah, you do. Yeah, it's actually bad for the
yeah, they're gonna have to pay at some
if
point.
it's just free
But yeah,
eventually.
no, that's what I would do first. That's what I'll do first. What about you? What would you do if you became a billionaire?
Well, I haven't pretended to want to solve the world's problems. So, if I'm being honest, what would I do if I was a billionaire?
Wait, excuse me.
What?
Yeah, you won't answer the question.
No, that doesn't. I literally said at the start of the conversation that I'm humble enough to admit that I wouldn't have the answers, and I wouldn't even want to be in that position because
Are you are you are you insinuating that I'm not humble?
you said yourself. I think anyone that's claiming to want to be a
You're right.
dictator, it's already
You're
kind
right. I'm not
of.
humble.
Diva said, "If I'm a billionaire, I'm
Sorry,
gonna have
answer.
unlimited weave." I'm so dead. I'm so dead.
Who said that? Can you send me that person something so I can? I don't even know what I'll do. Can we focus on the issue at hand?
Anyway, if I had a billion, I wouldn't. I don't think I'd focus on a solve problem. I'll solve my own problems first.
So you're selfish. Emmanuel, you made a very good point. Emmanuel said the morality of, oh, I don't believe I can solve problems. I'm too humble. That's what's killing
The
us. That's the
morality.
problem.
I don't think that's.
Yeah,
I don't think that's a problem. It's hardly the problem.
it's the problem.
I mean,
It's the
I'd make
problem
What in the
because
World Weekly as big as possible. I think if we're having these conversations, I'm not gonna pretend
no,
that this
you're
is gonna be.
selfish,
No,
and
no,
you
wait,
wanted to come for me.
no, wait, no. Again, I didn't pretend like I was gonna solve the problem. You did, not me. I
And
never
you
said.
wanted to come for me.
I wasn't coming for you. I was just trying to present some. I'm a journalist. Okay, I'm a reporter. I was just trying to like
Yeah.
present objections to. I mean, again, I'm really presenting the people's objections here because a lot of people were clearly having issue with your view of the world. So it wasn't. I was a spokesman for what they're saying. But I would probably just. I mean, I'll focus on making this bigger, right? Like what we're doing right now is really interesting. People are having engaging conversations about stuff that again they
Mm,
wouldn't otherwise wouldn't be talking
mm.
about, whatever. And that kind of collective consciousness being grown is a first step, in my opinion, to actually making the world a better place, right? Like a lot of the times
Sorry,
people have
someone
to be
said that they
aware.
have an issue with philosophers. Off tide, go on. What's your issue with philosophers? Because don't feel like that. And this is not the space for you to have issues with philosophers. I'll wait for you to respond. Sorry, I
No, it's
do.
fine. It's fine. You want to respond? You can respond to them if you like. But you want to respond to them?
No, I want them to explain what their issue is with philosophers so that I can
Oh, so
tell
you can
them
then.
meh.
Oh, right. Lol.
Yeah, because I don't know why they're feeling like that in the things you can't touch live. Thank you.
But
Yeah.
all the things we're talking about here and these conversations, I think what it does in a primary. Oh, I don't think you can go live T100. So you haven't got 1,000. Do you need 1,000 followers to go live? I think you do, right?
Not all the time.
No,
Are
all the
they
time. Oh
active
yeah,
on TikTok?
you can request it. Yeah. I don't think he's active. No, he's not really that active. I think he
Uh,
might even be on private. That doesn't help. No, anyone can request to go live. Oh, okay. Maybe try and go live independently, and I can try and add you as a co-host. Yeah, try and go live independently. Apparently, you can just go live. I think before I got to 100, was I going live? I don't think so. I can't remember. Anyway, I think like I was saying, these kind of conversations grow the collective socio-political consciousness, which is what really I'm trying to do. Beyond that, people then have their own
yeah.
views and things on what they want to do. And I think if you think about when we talk about certain issues, I talk about a lot of politics. There are a lot of people that come across my page where
Mm,
they haven't really thought about that place in the Middle East until they come across it, and now they have a more of an opinion
mm.
in a way like what's happening is bad. Even that's good. Having an opinion educates enough to know that.
Okay.
Sorry, go on.
That was rude of me. I'm gonna let you finish saying what you were saying.
Oh, all right. But anyway, I think overall, trying to do those things is always a positive thing to do. What people then choose to
Mm.
do with that knowledge and whatever and conversations, I think I'll just leave that up to them. But I, going back to what we started talking about earlier, which was where's the topic lists? These questions that we're asking. If you just joined or joining recently, we were talking about nihilism earlier and whether or not nihilism is a rational response to the kind of
Yeah.
system we have now. I genuinely believe yes, but I don't mean nihilism in the sense of I want to start doing bad stuff because of that. But I just also just think like
Mm.
we live, we exist, and after we stop existing, that's gonna be the end of it. So in a world where we just exist purely for existence sake, I'm not really gonna try and change the world or whatever because it really makes no difference in the grand scheme of life. So that's kind of my view on that. I'll just work on having a good life. There are stuff I would do like that. Kind of like I have this random idea. If you guys want to steal my business idea, it's okay. Of like creating like a kind of like a sports how do you call it, like a sports academy type stuff. Like how they have loads of people in Nigeria where we don't do any like serious athletic
Mm-hmm.
stuff and stuff like that. Like in a country like that big,
Mm-hmm.
we can really be like an athletic powerhouse and like create an economy based on just having fun, like sports events, athletics, all that kind of stuff.
Mm.
That's an idea for
Yeah.
when I become a millionaire and stuff. But doing stuff like that is kind of what I'd be wanting to do with my money. Politics, I'll probably stay far away from. I'll probably talk about it a lot, but you
Okay.
wouldn't see me in a cause of power. I don't think.
That's so interesting. That's so interesting, man. Okay. Sorry, Off-Tad came back and he explained himself. Sorry, Off-Tad, I should never fall like that again. I attacked you too quickly.
Law.
He basically said, he said his issue with philosophers is that they speak in the abstract about real life issues and morality, when rather the function of conversation should be to actually change the world, than like intellectual pursuit. And it's like, yeah, yeah, fair. I hear it. Philosophers are they sit in this ivory tower and they look down on people's issues and they just theorize about it. It's very privileged. Which is why I'm currently studying philosophy with public policy. So I'm looking at how philosophical ideas can turn into actual implementation. So we've looked at immigration, we've looked at prostitution, we've looked at freedom of speech, we've looked at no platforming, we've looked at many a thing. Um
And that,
but no, you were gonna say
no,
something.
sorry, no, go on. Let you finish.
Yeah, what you said earlier about like basically the dissemination of information
Hmm.
surrounding like the what is going on in the world. That's what you will focus on. I feel as though, like, in fact, my question to you is, don't you think we have enough of that? Like, because I know there are quite a few platforms that give news reports and update, because more and more recently I've been getting this pet peeve where I see someone start an organization, like they start a platform and they're like, oh, I'm teaching young girls how to get into corporate, whatever. And it's just like, there are so many like social enterprises that are doing that. If you really cared, why don't you just go and
Going them.
work alongside someone who's already doing it? Why do you need to be the center of attention? Why do you need to start from scratch?
Mm.
And yeah, my question is like, journalism happens all the time, and there are quite a few platforms that are, disseminating this information. So why do you think yours is important, or why do you think yours is different?
I mean, I wouldn't say mine is like uniquely important to any other one. I'll probably start there. Again, I'm humble enough to admit that I'm
Uh-huh.
not uniquely special, but
Mhm.
my motivations for starting What in the World Weekly, which actually used to be called Pro History and actually used to be
Hillary, we
called,
need to have a chat. I'm sorry. Sorry, I was rude. Sorry.
thank you, and actually used to be called History Archive, was because when I
Mm.
started getting into history, I became obsessed with watching history, Romans, and this, that, and the other. A lot of the way history is told is from the perspective of like a handful of historians, right? And these historians historically would be like some people that live in like like just like noblemen that live in the halls of power and tell us about what's happened 100 years later or something like that. Now, when they tell this
Yeah.
history, all they do is just regurgitate whatever it is that the king told them. So let's say there was a war, between the Egyptians and the Hittites, one of the first documented war ever actually, the Battle of Kadesh. You can look that
Uh-huh.
up. Very, very interesting stuff. All he gets told about is from the perspective of Ramses. So he says Ramses was in the front killing all the people. He wasn't doing any of that. He was a king. He's in the back doing nothing. But the point about that is that I realized there's not a lot of people's history. A lot of the things that are going on in the world around us It's been documented by the CNNs and the mainstream media, blah blah. But what we need, in my view, is a people's history, the history of the common man. So I'm a random person, average person, living a pretty so far unspectacular life, sitting in my room and talking about the issues of my time. I think that's a lot more important than having CNN talk about it, because when I have my children and my grandchildren and blah blah, when they learn about
Mm.
Trump and all these things that are happening now, they'd want to know about what was going on. But instead of listening to CNN or MSNBC, they can listen to me. My opinions about what was going on in my time matters. I think that's really, really important to document. And when you go to, I mean, if you go to the
Yeah.
British Museum, if you go to the Egypt area, right, it literally says in there like, oh, we don't know a lot about how the average people lived because no one wrote it down. That's so sad. The average people in Egypt represented the vast majority of the population, but no one bothered enough to care
Yeah.
about what they thought about what was going on. Like, okay, you have this Cleopatra
Mm.
and Amenhotep and blah blah. What do you think about the pharaoh? What do you think about the policies? What do you think about why the world is the way it is? No one cared enough to ask them. And so we've lost all of that to history. And all we have now is the history of the noblemen and the
Okay.
kings and all that kind of stuff. So my vision for What in World Weekly is, imagine a world in which we have this in Guatemala, in Honduras, in El Salvador, in all these places, and you have people documenting the history they're living. So in 250 years or so, average people can hear about how average people lived. Because I couldn't tell you how the average Egyptian lived because no one wrote it down. I couldn't tell you about when Nigeria was living under the British, colonialism. I don't know what people thought about it. I don't
Yeah.
know what the average. I don't know what my grandfather, my great grandfather that lived through that period. They don't. I don't know what they thought about
Mm.
the British colonialism. Is that good? Is that bad? Did they like it? Did they prefer it to this? I don't know.
Okay, so you want to create. So you're not really gonna be a news platform. You're
No, no,
more so
no.
interested in creating a space in which we're hearing the truth and the realities and the
Exactly.
histories
And
and preserving
opinions. Exactly.
life.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. So you never catch me
Okay, I
doing
really
like
like that.
You never catch me doing like,
That's
oh,
really
this just
good.
happened. Let me give you. I don't do news updates. I give an opinion because I want you to hear what I think about it, and I also want to hear what you think about it, which is why I want to talk to you about it and say, give me your thoughts on what's going on right now. You don't have to be an expert. You don't have to be anything. In fact, I don't want to hear from you because you're an expert. I want to hear from you because you're an
Mm.
average person, and what you say matters to me because I think that's really interesting. So that's kind of my vision for what I'm doing. And again, if someone else wants to do that, doesn't mean mine is more special or whatever. They can. In fact, I would encourage more people to do that because I want us to have that collective history. If I want to read about,
Mm.
what happened in 1914 when the British decided to amalgamate Nigeria, I want to hear about what some people in modern day Sokoto or Lagos or Kaduna, Abuja. I want to hear
Mm.
different. Let me hear what those different people are saying. What do you think in Lagos? If you live in Ogun State, what do you think? If you lived in Abuja, what do you think? If you lived in Zamfara, what do you think? Let's bring all that history together, but the history from the average person's perspective. A lot of people probably tell you, I didn't really care. It made no difference to my material life because the marketplace didn't change and all that kind of stuff. I still want to know about that, right? Because
Yeah,
those are the things that get lost to history very, very quickly. So that's
run your
kind
mind.
of
Thank you.
that's kind of my motivation and my interest in doing this. And again, that's why I always not complain. Sorry, T100. If I add you as a guest, it's gonna kick Eden out, unfortunately. So this co-host is probably the best way. Maybe today is not the best. I'm so sorry, man, but really appreciate your interest and eagerness in doing this. I'll
I
definitely
don't
try
mind
and.
being kicked out.
Oh yeah,
I don't mind.
you
You can
sure?
always just bring me
No,
back
but
whenever.
then we'll lose your listeners as well. Though. That's the issue. Because like then your listeners are gonna go
Oh,
and be
there
like,
are
oh,
9 people who are still here right now.
17. We're still doing very good. I think. Oh, he says you can join as a guest as well. Yeah, but then yeah, she wouldn't have to listen. Everyone in there will have to join my one, which is a bit arduous. It's over 2 hours anyway. I'm so sorry. We're gonna wrap up soon anyway. I'm sorry about that T100. I promise next week we're gonna do a bumper
Next
special
time.
next week, which is gonna feature all the different trinkets and stuff like that. You mentioned about the public policy stuff you're doing, which actually brings us to the news of the world, which I wanted to get into. So there's what's going on in Benin right now, which I tried to look into exactly what was going on there.
Benin as the country or this tribe.
No, no, the country, the country,
Oh,
the country that's really like a bunch of Yoruba people and some French people, speaking people coming together and making their own country. Very interesting. But there was we talked about Burkina Faso earlier, right? And how this guy is doing some
yeah.
amazing stuff, blah blah. So there's been these coups in West Africa where it's being seen as like they're trying to come at the French-led, power structure or whatever. And something similar tried to happen in Benin. Now, again, people have been saying it's because the president is French-backed. Again, honestly, without primary sourcing, which I promise you guys, I've taken it as a personal responsibility. As I'm trying to grow in World Weekly, I need people in like every country, because when these things happen, like if someone heard about, the UK politics from Telegraph, and they're telling them about how Keir Starmer is doing this and blah blah. You might hear it was true, but I will just tell you the truth about it because I really know what's really going on. Like Keir Starmer removed the two-child benefit cap, not because he cares about child poverty, but because there's some people in his party that are going to vote against him if he doesn't, and he might face a coup which will remove him. These are the kind of facts we need to be hearing from the news that you don't hear about, because they report it as though it's actually about people. No, it's not about that. It's about political 3D chess, which is why I need people in these countries to give me primary material. Like I could tell you about how it goes on by looking at the BBC. I don't want to tell you that because it's not true. So I need someone underground that actually can know the mood of the country and tell us, like, low key, the president was an ethnic, like people didn't fuck with him. That's why they want to get rid of him. Or actually, the people that are trying to do the coup really actually are aligned with these other people, and that's why they're trying to do it, because they're trying to protect their own interest. These are the salient information and facts that I want to be presenting to you guys when I do these topics. But as of yet, my infrastructure, I know Eden talked a lot about infrastructure earlier, is not spread out enough where I can have broads in Atlanta, to steal the phrase, where I can have different people in different places to kind of bring me those primary source materials. But when I talk about things going on around the world, I prefer to do it from primary source material. So leave that one with me, guys. I think we can talk about it in a more of a general way of like, you know, is this a good thing for, like, you mentioned Eden earlier about the dictatorship, right? Essentially what was going to happen in Benin was like they were going to install a dictator, right? And this dictator is going to claim that the president we have right now that was elected is actually not listening to the needs of the people. When he comes in and makes it like an undemocratic system
Yeah.
where he has absolute power, this is actually going to be better for the people. Burkina Faso is an example of that. Some people say when we look at fancy graphics, it looks like things are going well for the people there. We don't know. We don't live there. So I don't know if you have any general thoughts on, interesting thing to add to that. Sorry, before you go, by the way, the coup was largely foiled by Nigeria. So Nigeria sent some military planes to Benin to basically disrupt the coup operation as it was happening. And so, bizarrely, Nigeria is on the side of democracy, I guess, whatever that means in the West African context. But if you want to thank Nigeria for maintaining a democracy in Benin, you can do that. Our president sent a plane there to disrupt the operations. But anyway, any thoughts on what's going on there? I know you haven't got any
Wait, you
context.
started cutting out for me, so I don't really know what you said.
Oh, I just wanted to get your thoughts on the general. I was saying like Nigeria was the one that prevented
You
the coup
started
from
cutting
happening.
out for me.
Oh, you're just repeating that. Can you hear me now? Testing, testing, 1 2 1 2.
Mm. Yeah,
Okay, good.
yeah, I can hear you now.
So I was saying Nigeria was the one that actually prevented, that foiled the Benin coup. So Nigeria sent a military plane to Benin, to kind of disrupt the coup
Yeah.
operations. And so it's because of Nigeria that we don't have a military dictator in Benin right now. But I guess the general sense is like this guy is not being responsive to the people and blah 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 blah. But they want to replace him with someone that's not going to be
Mm.
elected and voted for. Sounds a bit like your ideal country, doesn't it, Eden? No shade.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it does. I'll be a liar if I said I have anything to say, because me and politics, like I'm not the best. Like I'm not well versed in things of that nature. So I'm not even gonna lie and add any opinion, because there's always context
Mm-hmm.
that I'm not gonna be privy to say
That's fine.
anything. But someone said that we need royalty or a dictator. Democracy is a waste of time. That's what somebody said. I don't know if I completely agree with the royalty point.
But I mean, you mentioned earlier, Eden,
And
now, right? That in the way Nigeria is right now, for example, do you think a dictatorship would make the country better?
yes,
Okay, a dictatorship that's going to be like, I guess, if someone emerges right now as a dictator, wouldn't it be someone that's already part of the existing power structure?
which is the problem. But I
Okay.
still think a dictatorship, imagine like is in isolation. Like that is what needs to be done.
Okay.
The question of who the dictator should be is now a different question. It's now a different question because nobody who's currently there
Mm-hmm.
right now in that, if you call it government, if you whatever you want to call that arrangement,
A
no,
cabal.
none of them are good enough to be in it.
S- and if you implement,
But what was I?
I'll cut you off.
No, yeah, go on. If I implement,
I was gonna say, if you implemented that, would you do that with a view to transition to a democratic system eventually, or do you see that
yes.
as okay, okay,
Yeah. The point is always, but then at the same time, I feel like the West has made us to believe that democracy is the right way to go. And I think
is
that's
that a
also another
Western
issue, which
thing or
kind
just
of
a
yeah,
a natural human
yeah.
thing?
I'll get back to that.
Okay,
No,
no,
no, I don't think so. No, Emmanuel said send a Nigerian British representative who is educated and empathetic and championing equality, and that is such an interesting. An episode is going to come out soon on my podcast, which discusses the diaspora and the role that the diaspora plays in Nigeria, and talking about how white saviorism is not just restricted to white people, and how white saviorism is actually a thing that the diaspora does. So that kind of encompasses that. And then you asked, is democracy, what are you searching right in my face? First leader. Okay, and then you asked, is democracy like a Western thing? I think it is. I think yeah, it is a Western ideal. And it's also championed by the West for it to be like the right thing. But I think it's a cover for the reality of the situation. But obviously, this is all conspiracy theory. It's not rooted in anything, so you don't have to listen to anything I have to say. And it's likely that you're going to just disagree with me. But I think that democracy is the perfect veil to make it seem as though, oh yes, everybody has a choice, everybody gets an opinion, everybody gets to vote, when in reality, no, that's not the case. And then it justifies the behavior of those who are in government. And what is very interesting is a lot of the time when people do vote for certain parties, they don't know what they're voting for, and these parties know that. You know that they don't know what they're voting for, which is why something like what do you call it, exactly, voting between dumb and dumber. Democracy is a cover for capitalism and elitism. Thank you. Not like that. What was I saying? But yeah, that's why you can get something like Reform UK, like having so many people. Reform UK. Do you even know what you're voting for when you're voting for Reform? No, but they're going to get on national TV and they're going to say, yes, we want the immigrants out, and then Benefits Britain is going to be like, yeah, I don't want no Somalis, I don't want no Muslim, and it's like you don't even know what you're voting for. So I think democracy is a scam.
but
Yeah,
wouldn't you
but it
say, like,
sounds
as
good.
a smart person, like, you always think like you want your opinion reflected? Because again, part of the challenge today is that you say it's a Western thing, but I'm pretty sure you can imagine
Yeah.
a world in which the West didn't exist, but people
Mm.
still just want to have a government that represents what they feel. Like,
Yeah.
if the government is not representative of what I think as a person, why is it legitimate?
No government is legitimate. There is no legitimate government. It's not possible to have a legitimate government. But when you ask about reflecting what you think, like it's not possible for a government to reflect what you think anyway. So whether you
It
get a
kind of
voice,
is.
whether you get, where, because at the end of the day, with democracy, somebody's going to get voted into power, which is not the person that you wanted anyway.
No,
Like
I don't
everybody's
mean
going to
your
vote, but
own
then
specific views. That's why we go with majority, right? Like, it doesn't mean like everyone's literal individual views are going to be represented, but
yeah, and that's
collectively,
the
what
same.
people agree on is what's going to be represented.
Yeah, but that's the same in a democracy, like in the dictatorship that I want to exist in, one in which I'm going to hope anyway that a lot of people are actually going to agree with what I want to do. Like this is always the point. Like there's never going to be, no, that's not true. The dictatorship that I'm going to like run is not going to be one in which literally nobody agrees with me. People are going to agree with me. Do you know what I mean? In the same way that some people are going to agree with the party that's in power.
Hmm.
So it's like there's nothing special about democracy per se, apart from the illusion of choice, the illusion of the fact that you get an opinion, you get a voice. No, you don't.
But then I'm just thinking,
So,
like, in your world, you're kind of
mm.
assuming like if there was a dictatorship, you would be part of the leadership structure. But you could just be part of the you could not be part of it and then be part of like, the masses that are just being oppressed and just being told what to do and stuff. Would you
But
still be
why are
okay
they
with it
being
then?
oppressed?
Huh?
But why are you saying that they're going to be oppressed? Why are you saying that they're being
No,
oppressed?
okay, maybe oppressed is the wrong word, right? But in the
Yeah,
dictatorship, they're gonna be people that are gonna be adjacent to the power structure or directly in it. Like, your team of guys, blah blah,
yeah,
and there's everyone else whose views for the most part don't count for anything. Would you be comfortable being in
yeah.
that
But
in that
that is this
majority,
which majority?
the
The
ones that
people
they,
that views don't count for
yeah,
nothing.
yeah.
I'm in that position right now. Like, what difference would it
No, but as
make?
in we're not living in a dictatorship though. But in your dictatorship, would you still be happy with that? No, you're like, in a
Mm,
theoretical dictatorship. Right now, we're in a democratic light
yeah,
system, whatever. In a dictatorship,
yeah.
like for real, would you be okay with being in that majority?
Yeah, like I'll have to be. You know what I mean?
I'm asking you a
I,
person. You can say
I'm gonna
no.
hope.
Yeah,
No, I feel like I will be.
you would
In
be.
all honesty, there are
Okay.
definitely gonna be people who won't, but I feel like I will be, and especially if the dictator is doing a lot of stuff that I would have wanted to do. If they're not doing the stuff that I wanted to do, I'll just be like, nah, man, I should be the dictator.
Would you then
This
lead?
take things
Would
a
you
bit
lead a
half baked.
Would you lead a revolt against
Sorry.
them?
Bear with me.
No
Someone
worries.
said, wouldn't it be better to want political literacy rather than a dictatorship?
I think that makes a lot of sense, whoever that person is, which is why What in the World Weekly exists, by the way.
Oh, please.
That's
I just
exactly the thing I do.
I feel as though one doesn't negate the other. Like, just because it's a dictatorship doesn't mean that somebody can't have political literacy. I feel like in the schools that I'm gonna have as a dictator, I'm going to make sure everybody has like a politics lesson in which you're going to learn about different ways of like
Yeah,
running a country.
you better be
And I
careful.
feel
You
like
better
that
be
also
careful with that
does
one.
no, because you're making it seem like I'm a fascist, like which I'm not. Like I'm gonna get back to that in a second, but I feel as though with what you just said, I feel like it presupposes the idea that there's political literacy now. There isn't. Like,
No, no,
I'm
but no,
trying to understand.
but I think their point is that I think you're trying to say basically the reason why democracy is dumb is that people make a lot of bad decisions, right?
No,
No,
no, that's not what I'm saying.
really?
And when someone decided they want different way of government, what's your response? My response is you're not having that until I say so.
No, whoever that
Dictatorship.
person is, we went through that earlier, and trust me, a lot of people were very outraged
Um,
by Eden's Eden's very interesting positions on power. But I think
yeah.
in a
Anyway,
world where, because if you think
I
about
want
it,
to answer the question that you
your problem with
started.
democracy right now is kind of like
Yeah.
basically everyone's trying to put in their 2 pence, and everyone's just getting a bit messy, right? But in a democracy, theoretically, if people
No,
were agreeing on things that you
that's
think
not.
make sense,
Have you asked me what's my problem with democracy? Have you asked me that?
I thought that's what you
And have I
said.
answered?
Because you
No.
feel like the best way to do it is like the people that have the most benevolent thing to lead it. But in a world where a majority of people have that view, you'd be fine with that, right? With a democratic system, I imagine. Or would you still want one person to be leading it?
Good question. You do well. I like the question. Yes, I'll be okay with that
You'd be okay?
because
Yeah,
in
okay.
a world in which we have Green Party,
Hmm.
even Labour's a bit
Yeah,
this way.
it's a bit somehow.
But in a world in which every party
Hey,
genuinely wants the best for people, but obviously they're different in different aspects. Yeah, that's fine. We can hold that. We can hold space for that democracy. But
so,
democracy,
so, that,
right now,
so that's the point that guy was making. Then that it would be better to favor political literacy, because if people were literate, the idea is that they would tend to those kind of views that you're saying. Instead, then we wouldn't need the dictatorship, because so
oh,
that's why he's saying like let's have literacy
wow,
instead. Yeah.
Helene. Helene, maybe we're confused because I'm thinking the same way he's thinking. Helene, I like the point that you made now. Thank you, Ade, for clarifying that. That is
No
really
worries.
good.
No worries.
That is really, really good. I really, really like that.
And that's
I
why
really like that.
that's why
Wait!
on that note,
No,
you guys should
yes,
join
but
our live stream next week so we can keep on spreading political literacy to the masses, and invite your friends so they can also be politically literate, and we can all start to grow
no.
this movement of political literacy, mixing that in with philosophy and expanding people's minds to think about things that they haven't previously
Yeah.
thought about.
Guys, make sure you follow What in the World Weekly if you haven't already.
And guys, make sure
Yeah.
you follow things you
I
can't
think I
touch.
think quite a few people have followed you from my page.
Oh, amazing, amazing. Yeah, guys, we're going to be
Yeah.
doing a lot more collabs. I think I like the kind of balance of this. So
We
this is
do
quite
well.
fun. And maybe next week in hint when
Also, I don't want anyone to think that I'm angry. Don't worry, I'm not angry. I'm very passionate.
yeah,
Yes,
next week
sorry,
we're going
as
to
you
be
were.
doing a Christmas special. So Eden, I'm going to ask you in front of everyone. I'd love for you to be there next week. I'm going to try and mix it up.
Hold
Now,
on,
now,
what
now you can't
time?
say now you can't say no because it's 2 p.m.
What
See, I go live.
what
I
time?
go live every Sunday at 2 p.m. as it says on the flyer.
At 2, I
I'm
don't
always
know. I
available.
think
Eh? Yeah.
I'm
What?
not gonna be available until the evening. That's the problem. Hillary said that she loved it. She's so glad that she tuned in. Thank you to
Yeah,
everyone.
Hillary.
I think
Hey.
everyone on my side really, really enjoyed it.
Oh, nice. I'm really glad you guys enjoy it. Follow
Someone's
me
asking
if
if
you
we
enjoyed
do
it so
events.
much. Events. Of course, that one's coming.
Um,
It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. I'm still,
Hillary, I saw your message on Instagram. I'm coming, yeah. I'll
yeah,
respond to
I'm
you.
focused on growing this organically. So in as much as if there's a demand for events, I'll definitely be looking to try and put that together. But I've only been, this is my, as you can see, What in World Weekly 9. So this is my 9th installment of this live stream, and the growth has been
Wow.
gradual and steady. So thank you for tuning in, Hillary. If you don't mind following me as well, appreciate your interest in the
Yeah, she
community.
literally just said thank you. She said thank you to you and that she's gonna follow you now.
Oh, nice. Appreciate it. Amazing. So, hopefully, sometime in the near future, I'm sure, fingers crossed, this time next year, we're having a Christmas special in person and everyone here is there and we're reminiscing about when we had our live on, 14th December 2025, and now in 2026, we're selling out the O2 or something. I'm joking. We can dream big. We can dream big. But
Yeah, we can dream
we can
big.
dream
What
big. But
OT?
yeah. Maybe
But
Box
you know
Park
what?
aside. I
If
don't
you
know.
get there, you can look back to this time and say, Eden,
Exactly,
you laughed at
exactly.
me.
And I think I think that's really fun. And I really want to do this with all of you. I really love imagine a world where you guys are all coming every week, we're growing this, we're talking about all these things, and it gets to a point where it's not even just me suggesting topics. Like people are also saying, why don't we talk about this? Or I came across this story, which is like a lot of these topics, like I said, I came across I started talking about this whole thing. We had this 2.5 hour conversation because I saw this one tweet. That's how this thing go. You see one thing
Yeah,
that
man.
makes you think about something else and something else, and next thing you know, you're having a 2.5 hour conversation with over 30 people on live stream, just sharing ideas and stuff like that. Really, really exciting stuff. So thank you guys so much for joining us. Really, really appreciate it. Do you want to play a chess game to wrap up? I think I've added you now. Go on where's your phone?
Oh my gosh, if I lose, that's not gonna be a good
I
one.
usually play chess to start and end my live streams, but I haven't been doing that because people have been joining quite early. But this time, Eden also plays chess, so we're gonna entertain you guys with a chess game. We never played each other before, so I genuinely don't know how good she is relative to me or anything like that. We've
You're
also
good.
never met.
I'm gonna lose.
Nah, don't say that.
Like, I'm
Don't
literally
say
gonna lose.
that.
It's not gonna be good for my steez,
Your
man. It's not
Steve.
gonna be good for my steez.
There you go. Challenge. If I click on challenge, no, sorry, that's the wrong challenge. Ignore that. Ignore that. I just sent you a challenge, but ignore that.
Not gonna be good for my steez.
If I
Oh
click
my
on this,
god.
I never know how to do this in thing. Play a friend. Where do you play a friend?
Should I
Uh,
try and
okay, maybe I can just click plus,
let me try and do it?
and then it's gonna ask me what kind
Wait,
of game I
play a
wanna
friend.
play you. New game. Oh, this is so useless. The online version of this thing is terrible. Oh, play a friend. There we go. Play a friend, and then things you can't
You
touch.
can go to the message. If you go to the message,
Oh,
oh
there we
wait,
go. Oh,
sorry.
this is a 3 day game.
How? It started about me.
No, no, no.
It just started about my content.
No, no. I'll send you another challenge. 'Cause this is a 3 day game. It's gonna take us ages. This one is untimed, but let's play a time game. Let's just play 5 plus 5 blitz. Something nice and quick to entertain people. Sharp, sharp.
I don't know if I can.
No, go on.
Where's the invite?
Let's just send it.
Unread message.
Now, it should be it should come up. Are you on Chess.com app?
Yeah, no.
Okay, go on the app. If you go
Can't
on the app,
remember.
when I send it, it should come up. Are you not got the app downloaded?
Wait, I think I can see it.
There we go. 5 plus 5. Okay, I'm white, so I'll start. No, just look at your screen. Don't worry about my screen. Yeah,
That's
focus on
too
your
much
screen.
for me. You don't even know. You don't even know what you're trying to describe. Like, you don't even know.
There we go. Okay.
I'm gonna lose!
Have hope.
No, I'm scared.
Have faith.
You look like you know what you're doing.
No,
I haven't played for a long time.
I'm just alright.
I haven't played for a long time. I'm scared. I'm scared.
It's gonna be
I'm scared.
fine. Everything's gonna be
I
fine.
don't know what to do. I'm okay. I'm gonna hope for the best. How did that happen just then so quickly?
Yeah, cheers, Dan.
Dun, 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 dun,
I wanted to
dun,
double
dun,
up
dun,
your
dun.
pawns, so
Oh God, I'm
I'll
so like my heart is beating like
free.
I'm breathing.
This is the
I'm
fu- this is the
heavy
fun.
like a truck.
This is the fun element. We've done the hard work. Now we're just having fun.
No, can I tell you the truth? I'm a
Go.
really, 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 really sore loser. Like I hate losing.
Oh, your time is going, by the way, as you're talking. You know, it's 5-minute timed game, so you
I
might
didn't
want to play.
realize.
So you might want to play.
I'm so shocked.
But maybe you can
Oh
learn how
God,
to
man.
take losing better when I beat you. If I beat you, I'm gonna say that like
Not ever too much on me and that. Not ever too much on me. Like not too
that.
much on me. You know what I mean?
What should I do? What should
I
I
haven't
do?
played chess for so long. The last chess game I played, I lost. Wait, is it my turn?
No, it's mine now. It should tell you when it's yours.
Oh, okay.
It's a cagey game so far, to be honest. Are you gonna try and castle? I guess not.
I don't know what that is, bruv.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, maybe there's
I don't know
levels.
what that looks like, man.
Maybe there's levels to this game. All right, I'll try and make it quick then.
There's 100%. Is it my turn?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that was happening. Oh,
So
don't want to do
your
it.
time
Don't
starts to
want
count
to
down
do
when it's
it.
your turn.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Oh, my time is running out.
We have increments. So every time you make a move, you get 5 extra seconds.
Oh, nice.
That's a good move. Protect that.
I don't like the way you play, man. I don't like what you're doing, man. I don't like that, dude.
What should I do? What should I do?
Oh,
Let me break the game.
I'll be lifted. Oh, ooh, ew.
Let's break the game open.
Why didn't you just do what you just did?
Don't worry about it.
No, you stand there.
No,
Do
there
I
isn't.
look?
I'm not even sure what. I'm not even sure what.
Is there no there isn't? Where were you born, by the way?
I was born in Lagos, Nigeria. Mushin.
Yeah. How long did you live there for?
I was until about 12 or so. Yeah, year 8. I knew I came here when I was in year 8.
Wow, deeper man. I don't like your style of gaming. Like I don't like your style. Like I don't like that though.
I'm attacking your rook, by the way.
I don't like the
I don't know
style
if you can see that.
though.
Okay, good.
Wait!
Yeah.
How do I undo that? No,
Yeah,
I'm actually so
there's no
irritated.
undoing live games, unfortunately.
That's not even what I meant to do.
Backspace.
That's not even. That wasn't my
Should I play
intention,
around with some
man.
sacrifices? No, not yet.
Not the sacrifice. I'm so annoyed.
What should I do?
My gosh,
While
just
you're
scattering my
let's
keys, man.
just start going.
Wait, so what was that? What was that about?
I want to break the game open. The game is
I'm not falling
it's
for
too
that word.
cagey still, by the way. It's too cagey, so I'm trying to break it open. So I want to take some swaps and like open up the board a little bit.
I don't even know what I just done. I don't even know what I just did. Don't even know what I'm trying to describe. Honey, come down, come down. Guys, where's YJ? Like, where's YJ in a real way, man?
Who's YJ?
Where is YJ at? Oh, it's my turn. Where's YJ, bro? Where's YJ, bro? Do you not hear his song? I put my heart in this. Why does everyone think they're the hardest? Why do you speak for the sake of speaking? Don't even know what you're trying to describe. Honey, come down, come down. I'm just trying to be nice. That's what it's gonna be. Your fish might be really bleak.
Check.
Whatever, major loser. I don't know why I'm feeling like that. Don't feel like that again. Or to be honest, I'm not in a good place right now. To be honest, I can be honest with you. I'm not in a good place. I'm not in a good place. Oh, are you trying to check me?
I am.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine.
Wait. Yeah, I've lost the game, to be honest. I've played really terribly. I can accept my fault and I just have to just keep on keeping on.
Yeah, I guess you'll try again. You played valiantly so far. But next time, I'll teach you how to castle. If you castle, the game lasts longer. I'm saying this. My friend Daniel is like an incredible player, and he's in the chat, so I've learned from him. But castling is like hiding your king. See how my king is like in the corner here, and like it's hard for you to get to him. But your king is in the open, which is I was able to like check you directly.
I always just leave my king in the same place.
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
Because I'm too interested in... Wait, how do you still have 4 minutes?
Because I'm not really thinking about what I'm doing my moves. Because no offense, I don't think much about.
You're not thinking about what you're doing.
I don't think much about what to do. That was a bad move, wasn't it?
What?
I can just take your thing right now. Why would you do that? Yeah, my rook is on this. I can just take it. My rook is on the same line. Look at my screen. Look, if I do that, I'll just take your rook. Like, I'll just take your queen.
Take it then.
Should I do that? Let me win in the most stylish
I don't even
way.
care. Oh, I didn't even realize it was the queen.
Important to realize which one the queen is.
No, this is actually and I've just made another terrible decision.
You had no choice to doubt you.
I don't want to play anymore.
Oh, Nell just joined.
Did
you just wake up from your nap, Nell? We've already had the conversation, but it's gonna be it's recorded, isn't it?
Excuse me, I don't want to play anymore.
Are you wanna resign?
Excuse me, I don't want to play.
You can resign. I mean, I'm gonna win in a few moves anyway, but you can resign if you want. But don't resign.
What happens if my time runs out?
You resign, but you can just click on resign and just end the game if you like. You don't have to suffer through this. If you click on the 3 line, if you click on the 3 line to the left of the thing, it should give you an option to end the game.
One to the left, one to the What piece was even there again? Which one did you even take?
That was a knight.
Oh Lord of mercy!
All right, should be checking. How many moves do you have left? You can go back there. I gotta try and end.
Stop! I don't want. No, man. Don't do this to me, man. Don't do this, man.
Let me just do check. So you take that one. I put you in check, and it should.
That's a drag. Like that's literally a drag.
Piece, but it should be checkmate soon, right?
Yeah, but you can also take my piece. So no. Yeah. Why are you doing that to me? In the middle, being the sun.
Where am I going?
Like a little baby. Like a little baby. Oh man. I want to do it, man.
Actually, you're actually doing a pretty good job of hiding. Oh, I can just. There we go.
Dame tu cosita. Dame tu cosita.
Discover check. And then what you're gonna do, you're gonna go. How do I end this game quickly? I can never read the board properly when I'm playing. When I'm playing like all these Can I make quicker? No, not really.
I don't understand why you still have 4 minutes.
I'm not really thinking about my moves because it's a bit easy.
No, but that doesn't even make any sense.
Oh, you can.
You cheated.
All right, let's end this now. Check.
I only have 2 pieces. As how?
Yeah, Daniel's congratulating me. Cheers, bro. Discover check is always the sweetest. Okay, I've already put you on that line. You can't go anywhere after that. And then we just.
I'm not gonna give you that.
Trap you in the corner. Okay, you have to go back. I'll just trap you in a corner, and it should be mate in less than 3, I think. All right, just play a move. You're not even in check actually. Just play a move.
I closed the game on my phone.
Danny, you know when you're beating someone and they know you're gonna win, and they try to frustrate you, so like they don't play a move, and you're just sitting there thinking, "What the hell?" You're gonna auto resign in 28 minutes. Should we count down?
I couldn't leave this. I couldn't give you the satisfaction of that. I'm so serious.
Are you serious? I should have done another discover check.
Bro, I told you, I'm a sore loser. Like, I'm not gonna lie. I'm a sore loser.
I should have come down here instead. Like, if I go this way, discover check.
Next time.
I shouldn't want that. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I won! Yay! I'm the winner.
All right. Thank you so much for joining, guys. On that note, I think I'm gonna wrap this up. This was a fantastic, fascinating, enjoyable, all that conversation. Thank you so much to Eden for joining me and making this such an enjoyable, interesting conversation with her unusual,
power to the people,
crazy views. There was not power to the people you're preaching today. You're preaching power to yourself. Okay, it was not power
to the people. Bro.
Power to yourself.
Dictatorship is benevolent. I stand on that.
But as always, guys, I'll see
Anyway, thank
you.
you so much. Honestly, what in the world weekly? I really appreciate you. Thank you for shouting me.
No doubt.
I'm so glad I had time. This was very fun, very enjoyable. You're also a very good host, by the way.
Thank
I
you.
thought I should let you know.
Appreciate it.
Great host, great facilitation. This was fun. Make sure you guys tune in next week, even if I might not be able to.
Thank you.
I'm
Thank you,
not sure.
Diva, as well for that compliment. Yeah,
Sorry, I'm
as
just.
always, it's okay. Next week, I'm going to try and do a Christmas special. So we're going to have another big, exciting conversation happening. Have another speaker, talk about something interesting. We'll see what I come up with across the week. As always, guys, if you have anything that you want me to talk about, you want us to discuss, feel free to send me a DM or reply to one of my posts or something like that. I'm doing this, like I said in here. I'm not even trying to be one of those people. I'm doing this for all of us. So, in as much as you found something interesting that you want us to talk about, please bring that and let's all enjoy and discuss about it as well. That'll be really, really fun. After next
Mm-hmm.
week, I'm probably going to take a little Christmas break. Um, send you Christmas cookies. I'll try. I'm probably going to take a little Christmas break after next week's one. But then I'll try because I'm going to travel to my parents. But I'll try to be back after that in the new year. But 21st December, 2 p.m. See you guys there, and thank you to Eden, and thank you to Eden's audience as well for making this a very enjoyable conversations. See you guys
Yeah, man.
later. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Adieu.